How's it going, everybody? Salutations.
All day.
Um, Happy Friday, right? Jesus, I know we were just talking to Nate about working plenty of hours and stuff lately, so everybody's got a weekend. We're happy about that. Um, we're joined tonight by, good buddy Blayden Hunter,
Hello.
Ethereal's art director, and the guy that keeps me in line for the most part. Then we've got Nate. We love Nate. Nate's a good dude. Nate's actually going to be doing a lot of stuff. You'll see his face a lot more here shortly. And then April will be here shortly as well. So we'll have a full house hanging out. But first, I'd like to. I just have a few questions for Nate because I know that he just got Theater 7 in the other day. And I'm curious, man, what did you think? Because I get every now and then I get all the books great, the data datas and the this and that's. What's going on, Shawnee? How's it going? But what did you feel like when you picked up Theater 7? I know that a lot of people were excited, and it was a very different realm for us because I had never written comedy before, and to work on it with somebody like Devin Massey was way above my head. So I was very, very excited about how the book came out, and I'm just curious about what you thought.
Well, for me, of course, I had to get April's cover. I'm
For
a little
sure.
particular. I love that, style.
Right.
It's close, but it's not. It's not showing everything.
Right.
So, of course, I cheated. Now I've become one of those cheaters. I read digital now.
For sure.
So I've read it a while back.
Right.
And I love it because Penny's one of my favorite characters in Ethereal now.
Oh, she's so fun.
But I wanted to talk about like the actual comic and the stock.
Yeah.
I love the stock that you guys use on this. It's like a thick, hardy, card stock, and it doesn't smudge either. Like I've had some like even some glossy or matte books before that just really smudge easily. This doesn't, and I really appreciate that because
Yes, sir.
I've had some junky books, come out and you barely touch it and it's already like you can see the grease, like it's already on the cover.
Yeah.
I appreciate the cardstock that you guys use and the paper inside. The paper inside is really like thick paper. It's not like your cheap old comics, like the old days, like in the 90s. Remember all those crappy books look like paper thin newspaper,
Right.
style. This is how a book should be done, folks.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. We're
You
definitely quality is something, we hold ourselves in high regard to no matter what book we're putting out. And we're very grateful to our new printers because they were able to stick with the type of stock we liked working with and stuff. So I think you guys will be very, very pleased with all the books coming out from them. This is actually, Blayden's over there working with one of the blanks right now for Theater 7. So that's really exciting. That's for a client. That's actually a Kickstarter backer that he's working on the book for right now. So really hyped about that. So story-wise, as this goes, what did you think of the actual, like, what Penny's going through, what she's got going on? I know this was an introductory issue, which was super fun to put together. Like, it really was, because I wanted her to feel real, just like I do with Agent C. I'm very particular about the fact that we realize that it's a comic book, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know it's a comic book, but we're trying to break that wall, you know what I mean, and make these characters as real to you as we could possibly make them. Is how.
For me, the biggest underlying thing is the innocence of Penny. Like she just doesn't have a freaking clue what's going on around her sometimes. And it's not that she's a bobblehead or nothing like that. It's just she's not really thinking of like everything around her. She's thinking about the task at hand. Like she's so ingrained. Like you could tell her love for movies, as a character. Like the way she was on the sofa talking to her friends, almost spoiling the movie, of Back to the Future, and it was kind of a nice thing to see. Like she's trying to break, I don't know even what wall that would be called, breaking the movie wall,
Yeah.
And going into the movie,
Right.
and it was funny because, at the end, the ending pages of where there's a magical person, per se, inside, the
Yeah.
bathroom. And then all you see is the two big hands at the end.
Right, right.
And I was like, okay, I love seeing that kind of like little throw in piece to that. I'm like,
For sure.
because it kind of is like it's part of the storyline. Yeah, you can see it's going to like, all right, who is this person in the background, and what are they
Right,
doing in the theater?
right,
Is it a ghost in the theater that's doing it?
right,
You don't
right,
know. It's that thought of the unknown, and that's what kind of ties you in. You're like, all right, what's happening? But now okay, she's in Back to the Future world. What is
right.
she going to do? And it's like, I cannot wait because like it's funny, like Doc Brown in the book.
Right,
Literally, he's trying to be the nicest old man without being the worst pervert in the world.
right, right.
And he's saying, "Oh no, here, take this jacket,
Yeah,
Marty.
yeah,
Marty, stop, 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 stop. Kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
thing."
Yeah, we
Um,
had a lot of fun with that. Like it was so entertaining. Like right, I just finished uh issue 3. I just finished all the whole write out and edit for issue 3. And I really, really had a good time with it. So I think that you'll get a lot of answers to questions going into issue 3. It's April Rita, and
Hi,
you'll
I'm
get
so sorry.
you'll get a lot of answers to your questions in book 3 for that. So, but issue 2 is coming right around the corner. All the art's being done for that right now, so we're really, really excited about that as well. um I can't tell you how much fun Penny is to write. Penny is a joy and a pleasure because she has no ill will or animosity to anything or anyone in the whole world. So to be able to work on a character like that when most our books are very serious, they're very in your face type of books, it's quite an experience to almost a refreshing, like a palate cleansing, as April will call it, a palate cleansing for what you're working with. And Penny just jumps off the page, in my opinion. When I got the artwork, I literally could hear her talking to me. I was like, oh my gosh,
See,
she's
you would have
super
sold
fun.
me if you would have said that you could hear her squee in your head.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you guys by the next couple issues will hear Penny squee at least once or twice. So
That's what she said.
she will too. But there's a lot to be said about the character and the adventure she's in. You've got this arc is a very short arc. It's to introduce you guys to the characters. Yeah, I try to make her that way because I feel like, again, Shawnee, you read our IPs. Most of the books are very serious. So when I dove into this book about this person that was generally a happy individual, I wanted to stay that way. And if you know Devin Massey's work with Cave Woman or anything like that, and Miriam and all that jazz, he's a very upbeat individual. And in real life, he's also a very upbeat, kind individual. So I wanted to make sure that we stuck with that kind of energy going forward. Like there's embarrassing moments, there's laughable moments. Penny knows that Penny's pretty, though. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So there will be plenty of times where she uses her assets to her benefit. And but you get a lot of funny stuff with her because she's a great character. Um, oh my gosh, speaking
Oh,
of a
Devin.
master right there, um, I have he and I work very well together. So it's what's going on, man.
And
It's an amazing amalgamation of talent that works on this book. And then you've got Dan Kemp. I mean, if you thought we had a huge, like a really like box office smash between me and Devin, then you throw Dan Kemp in there, and it's comic book flavor all day long. It's just a really cool experience to work with the two of those guys. I appreciate that, Shawnee. Um, I adore her though, and I know that the everybody's books have been coming in. I think there's only 2 orders that haven't gone out yet, but they're very large orders. But we're very, very excited about the feedback and how people are feeling about it. Um, oh right,
yep.
like oh my gosh, she's so much fun. Like I can't get over, the way that she's just. When I started writing it, I was worried that I wouldn't do Devin justice. That was my worry, that I would
Mhm.
not be able to do his talent justice. And when we started just going back and forth together, it was just such an easy symbiotic relationship when we were working with this character. And I enjoy her reactions. I enjoy her, even when she's scared of something, it's literally just like almost like an excitement, a new adventure to get into. And as you guys get further in the series, you'll start seeing that she's less and less terrified of these adventures and more excited about where they're going, where she's going to be in the next film she gets pulled into, or who she's going to meet, because being a movie buff and being her age and stuff, she's got crushes on all these movie characters, so she's definitely going to be introduced to a bunch of characters she's into and all kinds of other stuff. And then you get your moral choices and your black, white, gray, discussions with her. But it's a lot of fun. But I just, I'm really glad the books came in. Really glad everybody's getting them. And let's go ahead and we'll talk about what's coming up next. Because the listener funded, and I'm very grateful. Thank you all so very much for pushing that over. And that's just that's a personal project, a pet project of mine that I'm very, very proud of. It's not our highest selling book, nor is it our most popular book, but it is something from the heart, and it's what started me in comic books, publishing comic books, not in comics, publishing comic books. So I'm very proud of it. But let's go ahead and we'll talk about the proverbial elephant in the room, or frog in the room, if you will, with Frog Legs issue 1, and that goes live tomorrow. So here is cover A, and that's by Alberti. And Alberti has been doing. Blayden knows a lot more about him personally than I do, but I know that he's been on the art scene, the eBay art scene, for a long time now.
Yeah, he worked with Ebus Studios. I can't remember the name now.
Yeah, Benes, Ed Benes.
Yeah, Benes. He was working with them. I'm not sure how in depth they got, because he was saying he hadn't done any sequential work. He had done some cover work for some stuff, but I don't even know if it was getting published or not. But I mean, he came to us with a really, really cool pinup portfolio, and I tricked him into doing the long slog that is sequentials. But yeah, he was hungry and excited about the opportunity.
And it's crazy because I met Alberti, about 2 years ago, talking to him, online when he was working with Benes. So I ended up buying original art, from him. Had him do like 2 big commissions for me. And I like the style that he does. It's an elegant style when he's drawing, especially female characters too. Like you can tell, he puts a lot of time and curves and turns, to make it I'm not going to say voluptuous, but it's appeasing to the eyes. It brings your eyes to the actual artwork.
Yeah, I am blown away by the artwork that he's been doing for Frog Legs. All the interior stuff looks great that I've seen so far. And then not only that, but I mean, holy cow, do you have a colorist on that book? I mean, April knows Mr. Farmer better than anybody that I know, but it's beautiful stuff. April, you want to weigh in on those colors? Because I know that's your...
I'm so sorry. God, I heard Mr. Farmer in colors, and I was talking to Gus about the Kickstarter. I'm a bad girl. Mr. Farmer colors, are we talking about? Yeah, no, I'm supposed to be drawing, and I'm not doing a very good job of anything.
I was doing a little dancing behind you.
Yeah.
Well, I love Gus's dances. One of these days we'll get him on here to dance for us.
Dude, I tell you what, we're going to have an ethereal shindig, and apparently both of y'all are going to have to introduce me to crawfish.
Crawfish,
yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah. Look, we've
that's
been here for
sacrilege.
3 years, and 2 of them have been under lockdown.
we have some plans coming for the future for y'all. So for everybody, actually, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
A Gus dance-a-thon. So yeah, Bill Farmer, you know,
Yes.
is an amazing colorist.
He
Like,
really is. He worked for Image for a good couple of years before he kind of went on, what do they call that, a sabbatical, where he was just exploring different things, and I don't know. So he's starting to kind of like fall back into it, and I was just super excited. I had kind of done one of these, well, who do I have out there that's interested in doing some digital coloring? Because every once in a while you get people who are like, yeah, I've done it for a while, and others who are like, well, I'm willing to try it. I do a pretty decent job. You never know, like, the level of experience and talent that just kind of like mows through your overall, you know,
they just
yeah.
mosey in, you know, and they're like,
Yeah,
hey,
most of it. They come and they go, the ebb and flow of creativity, or, you know, a sabbatical from social media. But it was just the right time and the right place. And I've known him for years prior to him taking the sabbatical. So the fact that the moment that I had even put that out, the call for colorists, and he was like, yeah, I'm coming back into it. I'm like, yes, snatch him right up. His uses of purples and blues, oh my gosh, I'm in love. I absolutely love his color palette. I love his level of detail and intricate work. When we offered him colors on frog legs and he was like, yeah, I'll do it, I'm like, oh my god, and I totally squeed. And there was, of course, I work from home and nobody's here to witness it, but whatever, I stand by my point.
I second that.
Yeah, right. And so he is just kind of like one of those completionist kind of guys. Like, he starts something and just mows right through it. So he flats everything, he colors everything. Like, he uses the same eyedroppers to pull in the right lighting for the right panel layout. Like, it's not like you finish something one day and then you finally get to like 3 pages down and it's been 8 days. So like, there's a continuity that actually happens when you color that way. And I just think that he's brilliant, and I'm just so blessed that he's like on our team. For sure. And working with our little band of misfits.
Well,
I love it.
Going into Frog Legs, so let me give you guys a rundown about what the book actually is, and we'll let, you know, Blayden and April and whatnot weigh in on it as well as we're going through it. But it's a lot of fun. Like, I am, I have almost a style to my writing, and for you guys that read my books, you see my style, and you know, it's we call it the Ethereal blend. You know what I mean? Because that's what we try to add in every book that we put out. You know, it's certain aspects of things, mixes of pretty girls or interesting story, or both, a blend of fun, action, adventure, so on and so forth. But with Frog Legs was something that I spent a lot of time in before I was comfortable bringing it to the team. Like, I literally sat and watched, you know, videos about how to speak Creole and for hours upon hours on end, and, you know, trying to learn all I could about the Bayou and about Louisiana and about voodoo. And it was all very, very interesting stuff. And so I sat down and I started putting this together. And I also, look, man, I like to eat. Okay. I like to eat. And there was a book years ago that came out and I absolutely adored it. It was called Voracious. And a lot, you know, it didn't sell real well in our shop. We had the brick and mortar. That particular book didn't do well, but I pushed it. I pushed the shit out of it because I enjoyed the story. And I remember thinking how much fun it would be to make a book from the perspective of a chef, you know, but an ethereal book from the perspective of a chef, right? So I sat down and I was like, well, I'm real big in the listener right now. I'm real big in Agreed right now, that world. So I was like, well, let's let's stay in that world. You know what I mean? We'll stay in that world, but we'll make a different type of book. Well, instead of writing like I would the normal listener stuff, let's make an ethereal blend. You know what I mean? Let's move into an ethereal type of book. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Shawnee. I really loved it. And so as I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, what do we do? What are we throwing into this crawfish boil that I'm about to create for this book? You've got your pretty chick, you've got your dude, you've got your mystical elements, you've got your horror, you've got everything in it that makes an ethereal book an ethereal book. And it was so much fun for me to create Celine. And as a character, Celine is this really sweet, really overly like knows what she's doing, runs the show type of chick. But on the outside, she plays this, and I got my man bun in there on this one. I sure did. Yes, ma'am. But it was
But you didn't get your unnecessary hair flip.
You'll get one.
Oh.
But so the character is very interesting because she's that very manipulative, behind the scenes, runs the show type of deal. It's like she's really behind Bastion. He's opened his restaurant. He's just moved back from, culinary school. His family's lived in the Bayou forever. So now he's able to open his own restaurant on a plot of their land, so he's opening his restaurant
But he just got out of prison.
Do I know? Sorry?
I thought he was just getting out of prison.
No, getting out of prison.
Well, that would make him like 2 levels hotter.
Oh my gosh, you're a mess.
That could be the back history story. That's why he's doing it. He got his money after he got out of prison.
And decided to be a cook because we've all watched, what the fuck is that show, Chopped? So we all know that every chef that comes out had to run to prison at least once, right?
You could do a Prison Break.
Oh my God. I have not written Prison Break. Yeah, pay no attention. That's right. Pay no attention to the chick behind the curtain. But she's a lot of fun, and it's almost like my take on a gender bender Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Okay, so as much as Bastion is the main character, Celine is the main character. As much as he's in your face, you have this character that's behind the scenes, manipulating every situation that we go into, and then you get to the voodoo stuff, you get into all kinds of wild stuff. Jesus. But with that, let's go ahead and let April talk about these covers for a second.
That we need more hair flips.
Yeah, like someone needs more.
Well, this is actually Blayden's. I think you should really talk about this one. That looks so cool with the trade dress and everything.
Oh, yeah. Trade dress is coming out. Looking good. I just saw it today, actually. Yeah, I mean, we're heading for some voodoo stuff, so I wanted to work it a little bit there.
So cool. So we've got an old buddy of mine that I used to work with at Heroic Age Studios, Zach Atkinson, that did the colors for this. And he's been a colorist on several of like the DC universe. Like I want to say Green Lantern was the book that he was on. But he's a colorist that we worked with, oh my goodness, 20 years ago when I first got into coloring. So yeah, Zach. Remember Zach?
Yeah, fucking hardcore.
Yeah, well,
Fucking, I like that dude.
He is very cool.
Yeah.
So he is working with us now, and I love this. But I can't wait to show you Babe's Gore and Dinosaurs. His colors on that is pretty spectacular. So, oh man, I'm so excited.
I guess he was on Teen Titans Go as well, April?
Probably. Like, I know whenever I worked with Heroic Age Studios, we were doing JSA, JLA, Teen Titans. We did Stars and Stripe, Our Man, Oh, Dead Enders was like the worst. We had like a whole string of top tier books. My very first book that I got to work on was Batman's Bullock Law. I don't know. It
I
just
got that signed.
we got to do the JLA Witchblade crossover. It may be the closest thing I ever get to actually working with Image, but it's fine. But yeah, so Zach Atkinson is definitely somebody to follow if you don't already. I don't know. I think they did a masterful job working in the voodoo element. And I really can't wait to see it more on the interiors as the story develops. I think this is going to be one of the most interesting ethereal books that we have.
I agree with you. I think that you've done a masterful job of pulling colors together, madam. Like you've really pulled some amazing colors together. So that's cover B. So let's go ahead and we're going to do all the covers tonight, guys. I'm really, really proud of everyone's work.
Wait, that's cover B?
That's cover B.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, cover A.
Yes, this is cover A.
Yep,
so
it's cover A.
This is super fun. Fun fact, Carrie Ann actually did a purple shirt on the dude. What is Prison Break's name? What's his name? Bastion. Thank you. So she did a purple shirt on Bastion, and I let it slip that it wasn't necessary, but that's what one person's already colored. Everybody did it. Everybody worked it in. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, everybody ran with the purple shirt. Like I didn't even know it was coming until I saw it. And I was like, everybody went with the purple shirt. But yeah, no.
But it really works. He's got the coppery red hair, and
it works. I love the purple shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I rock purple and pink myself.
So
let's go ahead and we'll jump into cover C, and this is Kinky Cutie's cover. What is Jake's last name? Jake's
Thompson.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's an excuse to say kinky
the
rest of the 11 months out of the year.
Yeah, so he did the colors and the artwork for this one.
Yeah, he does digital painting, so he'll do.
Yeah, it came out really pretty. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to click that one. Sorry about that. Flip over to that real quick.
What did I miss?
Oh, we just showed the undivided covers.
Yay!
So anyway, so going forward,
Facebook channel.
Most of these covers will have their wild editions.
He could have a Facebook record. It plays into it.
Right. So that's cover C, and I like it a lot. I think it's really, really pretty. And you guys will start understanding the right on. See, Bastion's a confident dude. He can rock whatever color shirt he digs.
There we go.
I'm about that. I'm about it. I really enjoy his cover work, Shawnee. I really, really do. So let's go ahead and we'll hop over to cover D, which was Greg Bo's cover and Gwen's cover, which also.
You said hop like a pun?
Yeah.
Because it's frogs.
You got that? Yeah,
I did.
Right on. So this is Greg Bo and Gwen's cover. I really, really enjoyed this one as well. I think it's a lot of fun. And introducing the voodoo elements to the covers is important to us. We wanted to make sure that we're always paying tribute to that part of the book because it's very important. So, like, if you don't know shit about voodoo, it doesn't matter. It's almost like we're going to teach you quietly on the back end as we're going through this book, which is very, very exciting. I love her face as well. Celine is so confident. And like when I tell you she's confident, it's something that is very important to us with this story because we always want to portray her confidence because she is literally, that chick. She runs the shit. So I want to make sure that we're always showing you guys that. let's see if I can find cover. Well, I can't show you guys cover E, but I can show you cover F. And cover E is Lenedi's cover, and you guys know I can't show you Lenedi's cover on
No.
here.
What, you
So-
don't have a small enough heart to cover?
I don't have. I don't have any of that.
You have a lily pad that can just kind of like walk.
Would it be the whole page?
Well, it might
Well,
be that
at least
one.
a third
For
of
a
it.
couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then cover E was shown, and we can say that we showed it for a couple seconds. If you guys want to catch it, all you got to do is rewind for a second, and you'll catch it. But it's beautiful. The cover E is beautiful. What's up, buddy? How's it going? So it's a beautiful cover. You know, Lenedi always brings it. You know, she always brings it. So, and she and I work together on almost every cover we put out. So I'm really excited about that. And here you've got Lewis's cover. What do you guys think about Lewis's? I really liked this one.
I like the artwork. I like especially the way the rays of sun are like making her glow.
Yeah.
I've got my own questions already.
Please.
So my first question is the importance of the snake. Every cover has the snake, and it's glowing green, so you can tell that it's a mystical kind of creature.
Right?
So what, other than being a nice wraparound herd, there's an importance to that. I can already tell that, and it's going to be affecting many things in the book.
For sure.
Can you kind of talk about without spoiling it for the whole book?
He is just as much of a main character as anybody else. Like, he has his own personality. He's a very, very intriguing character because, again, like I said, we're gonna go into the links of teaching without teaching about voodoo as we go through this book, and you guys will learn about things so you understand them. He is what you would call in like witchcraft would be like a familiar. You know, he's very tied to Celine. So as we go through the book, you'll learn more and more about him, and you'll get more of an idea of his personality and what he thinks, because he's definitely not afraid to tell you his opinion. So I love working with him. He's almost like my own conscience put into the book because he's snarky and he's fun and he's very interesting.
Jiminy Cricket ate Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. So you'll get to see his opinions. Oh, right on. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm fairly certain it's there now as well, Shawnee. But so let's go ahead and we'll hop over to cover G, which was Marissa Pope's, which also came out very pretty. You know, I'm a big fan of that one as well. I love her hair.
The hair.
Yeah.
Her hair is so good.
Yes.
Like it's just gorgeous. You know, I'm a huge fan of that. And again, we're pulling in those elements. You know, we're pulling in the voodoo element to all the covers. So I think that people will dig that a lot. And again, you're going to absolutely right. You're going to see a lot of this. You'll get your crossovers with this book as well. You'll get crossovers from Greed characters. You'll get crossovers from listener characters in this book. But it's a very much more into that adult ethereal vibe than the other books. Like Greed is a lot of fun, and you're getting more and more adult in Greed as well. But we're very careful about that book because the main character is, a kid. So we're very, very careful about how we put that book out. And then
you've got a kid yet.
Yeah. He's going to be a kid for a little while. And then there's down the road, I think it's next year we start working on putting it out, is the Sin War, which is the crossover between all three of these books. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But and then you've got, Mitch's cover, which super, super fun. Again, you've got your snakes involved in the cover and stuff. I think that this particular, I appreciate that, Shawnee. It's this particular cover for me with Dan's colors was just so much fun. I was like, how are we going to do this? Where are they going to go with it? The whole, bayou nighttime voodoo thing is very interesting. And I'm a big fan of, the Massey's work. Both of them, I love those guys. So when it was, they've taught me a lot. This is another cover, April, that I had to do the swatches on.
The swatches?
The drawn pieces that aren't drawn on the thing, and I have to put them on the thing when I scan it.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Of course.
So like her top, right? Her top is not drawn on there.
Right.
It's drawn on another piece of paper or two pieces of paper.
Oh, superimposing. Yeah. A layer.
So this is still new to me. So I have a lot of fun with these when they come in, because I get a nude character and then I have to finagle the clothing on there to make it look like they want it to look.
So you could get
it's-
yourself one of these.
But so when we scan it, though, it has there's only one version. There's
Right.
the wild version, so you're actually scanning the clothing on top of the wild version. It's really, really cool. But like I get so nervous when I do it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up, because you're blue taping like little teeny like pieces of blue tape to hold it down. You know what I mean? So you've got your scanner, your 13 by 19 scanner, and you've got this massive piece of artwork, and you're just like, stay on the boobs as you push them down on the, on the scanner.
It's a unique problem that we all have.
It is a unique problem, but I think it came out very, very well. I was very happy with it.
Yes.
Mitch knocked this out of the park.
See, I like this one because this is totally redneck. That's what we would wear in the redneck world, because
Right.
your torn clothes, it's not a nice pair of shorts. It's not a nice shirt.
Right.
It's torn and tattered. You've had it forever, and you're sitting in the middle of the water. Like, and I'm from the old deep south, so
Right.
you go in the bayou, you go into the water. That's all you're wearing. You're wearing the minimum amount of clothes because it's just too damn hot.
Yep.
Right.
Not only
I love that.
I found that this cover uniquely captured stuff growing in the water, the cattails, the plant life, the like I feel like it was a lot more obvious in this one. Those elementals, the fog, and I don't know, that mossy stuff hanging off the tree. Like it really brings a lot of elements into it. Like I think this is one of my favorite pieces that Mitch and Dan Kemp have captured. I am so happy with it.
I love her skin.
Like,
and it's going to sound strange, but it's hard for people to color people of different ethnicities at times. You know what I mean? It's a different skill set altogether. And
it really is.
This came out beautiful. I know Dan's been coloring for a very, very long time, but it blew my mind when I saw it, but then we'll go into probably another one that blew my mind. So, I love our artists. I love our whole team. And when they do things, though, I never cease to be amazed. Like, look at you down there, what you're doing, squeeze them. I never cease to be amazed.
What?
So, anyway, this one is by Renee, and she is just continuing to grow.
Wait, do I need to work on something else? Is this okay?
No, that's fine. Shut up. I was just
okay. Like all of a sudden, I got real self-conscious.
I was just giving you shit. That's our book anyway. I don't care. So thank you so much. Is that the ethereal model? Stay on the boobs. It is what I'm trying to put the cover in the scanner. Stay on the boobs. Pay attention to the titties. Jesus. Anyway, so look, you've also got this amazing piece over here that Blayden's working on. Check that out.
Yeah,
that's for, like I said earlier tonight, that's for a Kickstarter backer
Oh no, am I supposed to do one of those?
No, you don't have. I don't think you have one, do you?
I don't know.
Not for this one.
Oh, okay.
No,
I know I'm
always do one
supposed to
for
do
me.
something.
Yeah, well, you're always supposed to do something.
Uh,
You always have something going on.
that is very true. But I thought there
Um,
was, I don't know. You let
no,
me know
I'll
what I
look.
need to do when it comes up.
Yeah, I'll look. I think you have one coming up, but I don't think it was Theater 7.
Okay.
But this is a
But if you
Clash
need
of the
sprinkles
Titans,
of the state of Texas, I am your girl.
right? So this was a client that was looking for a Clash of the Titans penny mashup, and I think
Ooh,
that's just super cool.
yeah.
I know the other one I think is a Terminator that we were asked for, so
Nice.
that'll be pretty dope. And the fun thing about Penny is you can put her in any world you want to put her in, you know. So, so let's get back. We were on cover H. We'll go to cover I, which was Renee's, and I love it. Like, I
That
just
perspective is gorgeous.
I can't get over the fact. To me, it's very funny, and I know I'm reading into it too much, but it's a very yin and yang thing for me. This cover, because he is this like very innocent individual.
That's what they
And
all say when they're in the clink.
I mean, I get in the clink. Like, Jesus. In the clink, you're gonna have people thinking that he's an actual like
Prisoner.
inmate.
Is that going to get us ratings?
I'd fuck if I know.
2 levels hotter.
Yes. So whatever. I'll write you a fucking Prison Break book one day. So this was just a beautiful cover to me. Like, it's very sensual. It's just very pretty, you know, in every aspect of the word. It's her skill level is just amazing. You know, I'm very, very proud of what she's putting out. And of course, it's got the wild cover to it too, which is absolutely beautiful. And then we get to go to this amazing cover from, yeah, absolutely, right? Like, it came out just stunning. Shawnee says she adores you.
Shawnee.
But then we go into this really, really cool one that On did. And Anvu, if you guys don't know her, she's very, very sweet, an amazing member of the team, and a great friend. She did this really awesome, wild cover. You know, what did you think about this one there, Blayden?
I think it's seductive. I think it draws you in.
I think it screams like Louisiana. Like, it screams that.
Oh, moody. Yeah, it's good.
You know, just like dark and gritty, you know.
Yeah, it's close, but it's also like mysterious.
Right? And I love the snake tail wrapped around his arm at the bottom of the chair. Like, it's just
The thing that got me was him looking back. You can just catch the corner of his eye.
right. See, there's certain things like I love your perspective. You and April have the greatest perspectives because I don't see all that stuff. What to me, I see this like this very much like I'm going to devour him type of thing. Like, she's like she's like claiming ownership of Bastion. You know what I mean? Like, this is mine, you know. And it's very interesting. What are you over there chuckling about?
That's what you do when you gotta join a squad.
You're a mess.
You gotta find your gang.
Yeah, I'm with you. You and the prison talk. Find your gang.
The chain gang.
Jesus. All right.
Well, so I got something to ask about this one.
Please.
So I'm looking at it from my perspective,
Yeah.
and it looks like the snake is actually in charge, not her. And so is the snake actually manipulating through her to him? Like, to me, the wild cover would actually make more sense than the trade dress cover because of the situation, you know, that Bastion's in. Because exactly, like, this makes more sense. Like, the snake is manipulating her to manipulate him to keep him under kind of wrap and toe, to keep him under wraps, to make him the guardian supporter.
For
role.
sure. I'm not going to spoil too much to the story or anything like that, but there's a one cool thing about the cover artists is they're all reading the book. You know what I mean? And for the most part, with the exception of one or two, I don't often stick my nose into the covers. I really don't. I don't often go, hey guys, let's do a cover like this or let's do a cover like that. Most of the time I let people, go ham on what they feel like is going on. So when they go into the book and they read it and they find depth to it and the depth to their covers, that's a very exciting concept for me. But I'm not going to read too much into what you just said. So we're going to hop over into Steph Wilson's. And I know there's a bunch of Steph Wilson fans, and he's a good dude, him and Carrie Ann. And they did this. Oh, yeah, there you go. Your Fallen Leaves preview. Oh, man. I'll have to get with you later on the show, and we'll talk about Fallen Leaves, the preview, and what you think about it. But this was a lot of fun. This was the infamous purple shirt that April which was just, it's great fun. I think the characters come to life in a way that, is very Steph Wilson, but it's also Steph Wilson doing a dude. So that's super interesting, and I love that she got like the dirt on his pants and stuff. His pants aren't clean. Those are neat aspects of it. And then, so holy cow. So I'm going to let April talk to you about this one and let Joseph talk to you about this cover coming up, this cover L. Cover L is beautiful in a way that takes ethereal covers in a different direction than we've normally done covers. And I'm very excited about it. And I'll let them talk to you more about it because they're more educated in that type of thing. But here you go.
I love that cover.
Yeah. That is done by Vic Moya. Oh, yeah. He is a badass. I don't know all of his work history, but I know he's been around comics for a while. And he does a lot of conventions out in the Southwest. So if you happen to be going to, let's say, Amazing Las Vegas, Phoenix Comic-Con, definitely look him up. He is incredible talent. So he put this together, and it's colored by Jesse Heggie, Heagy. And I met Jesse a couple of years back at Phoenix Comic-Con. So another opportunity to pick this cover up and have both of them sign it at Phoenix Fan Fusion because they changed the name, whatever. But what's really cool is like at first when looking at just the black and white line art, it is stunning. Just the craftsmanship. Like we talk a lot of shit when it comes to inkers, but he's one of those that stand out as an amazing, incredible artist, and that he can ink his own work is amazing. Absolutely stunning. And when Jesse got a hold of it, all of a sudden, I started really seeing stuff in the background that I didn't notice in just the line art. They're complementing each other in that aspect. And oh my goodness, it's amazing. There's blood that's smeared into symbols on the wall. There's all of these amulets and paraphernalia that are scattered not only in the foreground, midground, but like above her and behind her. That cloth, the scales, I mean, amazing job from both of those artists, and I could not be more happy. Like they did an incredible job. So
right on. So Blayden, how'd you feel about it?
I think I was talking to you earlier about it. I think the Vic definitely an amazing pull. His lines, like the hatching, reminds me of like Barry Windsor Smith, where it comes to like just really knowing where to put everything and building the forms out of that.
This is beautiful, and it's beautiful in a way that, coming from a guy, how many covers do you think we've seen in the past 2 years, Blayden? I mean, we've probably had, oh my gosh, a couple hundred, maybe.
Just ours, or what do you mean?
Yeah,
like in
just
general?
ours.
Yeah, that's yeah.
We've had at least a couple hundred, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just, this stands out to me in a way that I'm very proud of both of them in this cover, but it's something very, very interesting. And the more that we see Vic do, the more excited I am to have him on the team. And
Mhm.
I'm very proud.
Is that why you gave him a book? Because we're hoping to see more work from him.
Oh man! Oh man!
Was I allowed to say that?
We talking hashtag facts? Oh,
Oh,
thanks to 2 team members, all the team members going in there throwing stuff out. So no, we have a book that he is doing the interiors for called There Be Shadows, and it's probably, I'm gonna say it's the most ambitious thing I've ever written.
That's saying a lot.
And I mean, it says a lot. No joke whatsoever. I think it's a very ambitious title. It's something that I think it fits very well with me and my writing style, and with him doing the line art, I'm very happy with it. I'm very excited to see how dark he and I can go together. And it's very, yeah, I'm excited about it. But again, it's another one of those books where I don't write children's books. I just happen to have a couple main characters that are kids. You know what I mean? And if you're a fan of haha, Steph Wilson's so funny. So if you're a fan of oh my gosh.
It's okay. Well, we'll have him write more, but we'll get Ruben Rosas to do more lines.
Yeah, Ruben does amazing lines as well.
Oh, I know. Well, the constant gif is like who?
Yeah, the who. Yeah, exactly. Hashtag keeping up with Ethereal. That's going to be a new like live stream we start working on. But no, Darren O'Shaughnessy is whose name I was trying to think of. A couple years back, he was voted the new modern king of horror by Stephen King, and he did The Vampire's Assistant years ago.
Yep.
And he also wrote The Demonata, which is what got the award for that. And it's zombie. He's written some amazing things, but his characters were all younger. You know what I mean? Because he said that it felt like he could bring in a wider audience, but at the same time, children show fear a different way than adults do. And when I was sitting down to work on this book, There Be Shadows for Vic Moya, I literally was trying to tap into what I thought would be terrifying. We write some scary stuff. If you keep up with BGD or you keep up with, If It Hops or anything like that, serial killers, some wild stuff. But this particular book coming out, and it will be out before long, but it's something that even I was going, damn, normally I don't mind my kids, my oldest reading my books for the most part, but this was definitely one that she'll have to avoid. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I know that Vic Moya is going to knock it out of the park. But so I'm not going to tell you anything else about that book because I'll give away too many story elements.
Well, you can tell me all you want because I want to read it. I'm a horror freak. You guys know that.
Thank you, Shawnee. I appreciate that.
So I can't wait to read that one.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I have a habit of not writing for the faint of heart. That's for sure, Shawnee. So I'm really excited about you guys getting BGD 3 here in the next couple of weeks because of the fact that we've added more to the our own little murder mystery at the back of that book that we've been doing for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy that. But anyway, let's hop into the next cover, which is cover N. And I cannot show you Mr. Devin's cover, but it's beautiful. I'll tell you that much. It's really it's a pretty cover for sure. And then we'll jump into Sean's cover. Sean Forney's a great guy. He's been working out with us for a long time. I'm a big fan of his, and I thought it came out fun. I'm trying to get a really cool version of this cover done for you guys, so we'll see if I can't make that happen. But yeah, it was super fun. And again, we have those elements. We've got the voodoo elements, we've got the snake, we've got the the really short shorts, the crop top because she gets too hot because she's in Louisiana. Let's be real, that's how people dress. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Psyched for Fallen Leaves, Happy Elves doesn't. Yes. I do love his snake Loa. Absolutely. Awesome use of lingo there, Shawnee. But no, it's when it comes to you want to bust that out, Nate, and tell us what you thought about it. We'll take a break with these covers for a second.
All right,
Tell me
Steph.
what you thought.
I like your cover, by the way. That's why I bought you. So I read through it. Now it was actually a sad story. It really was. Like, it started out like literally they're getting ambushed and killed, and it's like rape and pillage. This little village of elves, and then you see the queen being stuck to the damn tree, and they're like, "Just go, get out of here, run, run, run." But then you can see like that it was sad because like her brother kind of gave his life to make sure she gets out of that situation, and then she almost gets killed anyway. So it's kind of like you feel bad for like, get out of there. There's a reason why they're telling you to get out of there because you're going to die.
Right.
And I couldn't tell. Were they supposed to be goblins that were killing?
Yep.
Okay,
there's goblins. That's what I thought. There's an orc there. There's a dragon.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of traditional fantasy type of characters there. But that's an origin story, right? Yeah. So if you haven't read the digital and you've just got your physical copies, your 8-page physical previews for that book, what Nate was talking about is it's literally she's trying to make it through this situation. And issue 2, we jump into her being an adult, after everything she's been through. So it was, it's her origin story, and it's a lot of fun. Issue 2 is great as well, and I had a ton of fun with that. So the Kickstarter just ended for that just a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Those books will be going out here in the next couple months, but really, really stoked about it. I've had such a good time. You were thinking dungeon crawl, and I went Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, so you're gonna get a little dungeon crawl too, and it is an emotional roller coaster. But I very much enjoy the IP, and you guys can look forward to a lot more issues of that book. There's so much going on with the new characters. You got with the issue 2, we went in and we're adding a whole backstory for the necromancer character that we introduced in the back of book 1. So lower body count in issue 2. I think there's only one person that died. 3 people that die in issue 2. Lots less than issue 1. 3 people in issue 2. Yeah, that's the exact number. 3 people. It's a lot of fun. It is, fantasy.
That's not supposed to be a badge of honor.
Well, I have never committed genocide in a book before, and
I know, right? And it's
Fallen Leaves was probably
to smite the whole village.
Well,
I hate that you made me care about that book. I hate that you made me care about that book.
I love that because that's something, if you who doesn't like fantasy, right, the fantasy less person decides to come in and go, wow, I actually give a shit about this character because she's gone through all this.
Unicorns.
Right. So now we've brought you into something that would not have normally been into your wheelhouse because you care about that character.
Yes.
I'm not doing mimics, but you will get something akin to an owlbear at one point.
What about gnomes? We're going to get garden gnomes in it?
Garden gnomes.
Dude,
so you're going to meet
gnomes.
Next issue, you meet a dwarf.
Hey, close enough.
You guys are going to get your dwarf, who we've shown some artwork for. She's absolutely a super fun character. You're also meeting a druid next issue. Lots of stuff going on in that book. But anyway, so we'll hop back into this over here, and then for all you fans of, she's awesome. She's so awesome. I just got to show it to you.
He thinks his own.
And I think that, oh my gosh. So Mog is a friend of mine. Mog Park and I met years ago when I first started putting out comic books, and which is crazy that it seems like the time is flying. But and it's been an amazing journey so far. But when she and I met, and I met Mel, and they were some of the first people to tell me that I had what it takes to do this. And I was still kind of in shock when people thought that when people were behind the products and people were behind the books. This was before Ethereal. This was when I was just publishing The Listener and when I was putting out Greed. And when you've got these amazingly talented individuals tell you that you can do it, well, fuck, you start believing in yourself a little bit more than you did before. I used to have real bad, what the fuck is that called, April?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, there you go.
I think we all have that a little bit.
It was terrible for me though, and if it wasn't for Blayden and April, I would probably still have a lot of it. But anyway, so she created this beautiful cover of Bastian and Celine, and I love that she created Celine in the background, like with the outline of her head with the hair and the lips and the snakes being her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, guys, like just too fucking cool.
Well, I'll tell you what it also reminds me of, He-Man. Like, I've got the power of the snake. I've got the voodoo power. Like, I'm in charge, not her.
Right on.
But then she's actually still overlooking him.
Right. I mean, Bastian wishes he was in charge. I think that's that's one of those things, but that's not the case. I'm going to show you guys one that, and we're an hour into the show, so I'm going to show you this cover. I'm not too worried about it. So the last time I suggested a cover, it did really well. I don't often, like I said, I don't often ask the team members to do things, but I'll have an idea every now and then that I think works. And this one from April and Gabriel came out just stupid beautiful. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I love it. Like, I love it. There's it's definitely going to go up there as one of my favorites. For real, it's definitely one of my favorites. And when this book goes live tomorrow, you guys will get to see all the covers. You guys will get to see all the stuff we're adding to it and whatnot. We're doing all the prints. He said, even I like that cover a lot. Yeah, Thomas knows. He knows what's up. But like I said, you guys, a bunch of you guys that follow us and stuff know that we've moved into a 2 book a month way of release publishing, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I was going to show you guys a couple covers tonight talking about BGD. BGD 4 coming out marks the 4th book that we've put out for BGD, but it also means that we're putting out a trade paperback. So for those of you that like to read, your 1 through 4s all together, and you like to collect your other books, like Nate was talking about, he likes the digitals. I know some people like to do their trade paperbacks. So we'll be releasing a trade paperback for BGD. I don't know what that means, Steph. Tiny armor and fallen leaves required, Joshua. I don't know what that means. But
tiny armor meaning a lot more skin to show.
Oh, gotcha. Well, there you go.
EILF.
Yeah. That's fair. So anyway, so I wanted to show you guys this amazing page that Blayden did. Plenty of naked elves. You'll get some naked elves for sure in Fallen Leaves. That's a given, I think. But check out this page, this concept page that Blayden did. I just, the way that this is put together, like her eyes opening and the bubbles breaking it up and stuff. Bro, you slew this fucking page, man. Like, this like every time BGD comes out, I think it's better. Like I literally think it's better every book.
That's what I'm aiming for. I mean, it'd be silly if I was trying to make it worse, but yeah.
No, for sure, I'm with
that
you.
one.
I love this page. Like
Ever since like Outlaw Star, I've always wanted my girl in a tube situation.
Yeah,
that just fed that itch. So
well, scratch that one off, right?
Yep, done.
Well, that reminds me of Ghost in the Shell. The way they had her in that status tube as well. She's all hooked up. And, she couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, so this is Serenity. If you guys keep up with BGD, Serenity is batshit crazy, and we go into that in this particular issue and why she's batshit crazy. She dies a lot. If you pay attention to BGD, she dies a lot. That's not to say that she doesn't deserve to die a lot. In BGD, we have the ability to bring people back. And the fact that she's a tank bred means we can bring her back. But I'm not going to get into tank bred and all that stuff on this show tonight because that's a whole different animal. But just know that, you'll see a lot of Serenity in the stories going forward. I think she's been in every single issue.
A whole genetically modified animal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I believe she's been in every issue of the book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So she'll probably continue to be in most issues of the book. But speaking of Steph Wilson and me coming up with designs, hey man, it is what it is. If we're gonna take over the world, we got to do it one way or another. And 2 books a month is a start. So Steph Wilson and we talked about a cover concept, and this was the one that we have coming out for BGD 4 from Steph Wilson. And Carrie Ann. And I thought it would be a great idea. And of course they knocked it out of the park. So I was really, really happy about that. And then we've got Mitch Massey's cover, and I'll get April to talk to you a little bit about that. Girls and Panzers, Joshua, you're a man of my own heart, friend. You're a man of my own heart. So you'll see things in the future, Josh. I've got stuff for you. My Metal Girl will be out before long, and we'll get into that later. But here's a beautiful cover from Mitch.
Oh, yes.
And this book, so you guys, for those of you that know me personally or know my writing style.
Are you in the drive?
No, I actually uploaded these.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of like the stepping stone before the final. The final has these beautiful rays of light that actually shine through that monstrosity there. And I think it just accentuates almost like a personal space of light. And it's just so beautiful. Mitch did a Aliens homage with a little baby Eve, and it's just adorable. We have a new colorist that we brought on. His name is Chris Hall, and he's been kind of bebopping around the indie neighborhood for a while and was kind enough to, take a crack at an Ethereal book. And so this was his first official, run-in with Ethereal. And we've got him on number 2 is going to be Theater 7. And I have a feeling that we're going to be doing a lot more with him in the coming futures. But he did a masterful job with capturing that classic Aliens vibe along with that cyberpunk Maya vibe that we've got going on too. The nose ring, the scar above the eye, all of that was accentuated by his stroke of genius when it comes to doing the digital colors. I really like how he did the camo pants with the green and purple versus just regular normal camo. I think it definitely puts it into that sci-fi cyberpunk vibe that we were trying to go for. So absolutely very happy with it.
For sure. I am a huge fan of Aliens, and I know a lot of people say that and whatever else, but I have every issue that's ever dropped. I've got the Borg. Fuck yeah. Resistance is futile. Yes. But I have not gotten to do like almost a tribute to Aliens, and it's huge in my collection, huge in my life. I mean, there's props upstairs, there's all kinds of cool shit because I'm a huge fan. But so this issue of BGD coming out is very much a tribute to Aliens, with cavemen, like genetically engineered cavemen taking the place of xenomorphs. And it's just so much fun. We've got a bunch of covers, including Blayden's, that are, alluding to it. I love this one, dude. Like this, I still think this is probably my favorite for this set, but I really enjoy it. I think he killed it, and David coming out with the colors as usual is masterful work. So, and that's a tribute to Vasquez when she's in the pipes at the end of the film. Really think it's a lot of fun. But so everybody asks about BGD. They're like, well, what did the experiment start on? What did they, where did this begin? We're in the future. What happened in the past? Well, these are beings that are leftover remnants from that past that just breed and stuff and are considered like a plague on society. So the characters go in to remove them. And this is a memory that Ricky is having of this adventure when they were mercenaries before they retired. So you guys get to see a lot of really fun stuff with this issue. So you're going to get to see all kinds of fun, just killer moments in this particular book. And then, of course, you've got your Mitch Massey cover for this one. I really like this because it reminds me of like Blayden and I were just talking about the Grindhouse comics back in the day. And this Ricky is like super Grindhouse, like holy shit, like way back gnarly fucking comic books, that we weren't allowed to read as kids, so I just think it was really cool. And then we've got one, and we'll get Blayden to talk to us about that. We'll throw up here another really cool one because they all came out beautiful. What did you think about that one, Blayden?
So I have to like peek around the whole thing. I gotta like my face is up here. Oh, I'm not even,
my fault.
What am I doing?
Peeking.
That's a LC Friedas. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing pinup talent. Like all of his stuff looks so good. The colors on this turn out really awesome as well. But yeah, LC's gonna be definitely a powerhouse as he goes. Like just appealing characters and just really cool ideas and line work.
I like how it looks like Wolverine in the background in a tube for Weapon.
Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about the character Serenity, and again, you'll learn a lot more about her in this particular issue. We all know that she's like Corvus's right hand, and she's obsessed with the character, so. But you'll also learn about the scientist that's crouched down next to her, which is a very actually almost like sensual aspect to this cover, because as much as she's obsessive, he's obsessive. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting, the different concepts. Take it easy, Steph, man. So good to see you, brother. So then you've got one more that we'll show you guys tonight that I'm very happy with, and that's Anthony Helmer's cover. And wow, right? Like, wow. So, mad fun. And of course, there's the wild version to almost all of these, but this one came out in a way that I was really happy with, because as much as we push the cyberpunk stuff with BGD, normally we don't get to show it off as much as I would like to show it off, So this one came out really pretty, and it's weird that he did this cover like this because April and I had literally just been discussing a cover that I wanted to do with Maya, you know. So I thought this was a lot of fun, and Gwen's colors are beautiful, so it came out really, really pretty. I'm really, really happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Niobe's, like with Larry's book, the way the style they do that, or Hypergeist has been doing a lot of their coloring like that. I always enjoy,
Yeah, for sure.
and it reminds me of the old 80s, Blade Runner, look of,
Absolutely.
pinks,
If you
blues, and greens.
if you've opened BGD at all, that was
Mhm.
Blayden and I, that was one of, the things that we were looking at when we started putting BGD together. What were the things that we wanted to do? And I love Blade Runner. I was like, well, if we're going to do it, it needs to be a fucking Blade Runner with dinosaurs. That's what the fuck, we're trying to put together. And I was just really, really excited about this cover. But like I said, you've got the trade paperback coming out this time. So if you've missed any of BGD, you'll be able to pick up all 4 issues of BGD or the trade paperback or whatever you want to pick up for this one. But yeah, lots going on, man. Lots going on. The listener campaign just ended or is about to end. We're so excited and so grateful about that. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of that series. So you guys will get to see, more of that down the road. But we're definitely moving in a very positive direction with all our books and the different series we're moving in. I'd really like to talk to you guys about Theater 7 a little bit, because you with it arriving at people's homes and stuff. I know Shawnee's is at her comic shop. She'll be able to go grab it. But I think that Penny is going to be one of those characters that the more you see of her, the more that she'll grow with the readers. That looks awesome, Blayden. Holy crap!
Can I show
Yeah, show whatever you want to show, dude.
the Greed cover?
Yeah, please.
Ooh,
Maybe I'll show you little bits. It's a little dim.
Show you a little bit. Show you a little bit of that Greed cover that looks fucking badass.
all right, I want that.
That looks so good. Ugh, so ridiculous.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
that's gonna be a good one. The next issue of Greed's coming out in just a couple of months as well, so we're definitely moving into this 2 books a month thing was something that we've been talking about for a little bit, and we're very excited about it. So you've also got My Metal Girl coming out. We just mentioned that a few minutes ago. My Metal Girl is the first manga style book that we're putting out. Not to say that it reads right to left. It'll still read left to right. And it's also not going to be an ash can. It'll be a regular sized comic book. But it'll be that art style, and you guys will get to check out what it looks like and whatnot. So we're very happy with that. And look, Shawnee loves that. She says it's fire, Sir Blayden. Fire.
No, I love that Greedo way.
Oh man.
The lines on that.
Greed is a lot of fun, and Blayden brings those characters to life in a fun way. His cover for the last issue was fucking phenomenal. And April, speaking of Greed, has been on Greed since book 1. She's been all about that. She she's done some good ones for that one too. The first cover that April and I did together was Greed.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Did I do? Yeah, I did do issue 2, didn't I?
You did.
Did I miss issue 3?
I think you missed 3.
Oh.
I think you missed 3.
And your duties.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I think that was about the time that I was coming on into the managerial aspect, and there was just a lot to.
Yeah.
I don't know. like I didn't feel confident in being able to get deadlines done. And or did you didn't launch that one from Amazing Las Vegas, did you? No,
That was Fallen Leaves.
that was
That was
Fallen Leaves.
Mhm.
No.
We had done Greed right before that.
Oh, okay. I think I was. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know.
I have
But-
lost all sense of time and space, but I do know that it was deadline related that I didn't do it. Otherwise, I would have. Because
For
I
sure.
was sad that I didn't get to do the last Babes, Gore and Dinosaurs too, because I had done every one of them prior to
You put on
that.
every one of them too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So-
we love the teamwork and the team aspect of everything that we do here at Ethereal, and to grow with our teammates and our team members and the stuff that we put out. I can't wait, truthfully, to start like April jokes with me, because I'm like, hey, look, we've got this, and this coming out, and she's like, hey, look, let's get through this month and next month. And I'm just like, I'm like,
You
but-
just looked yourself.
yeah,
We're like, what about this project that I need to do a thing for? And you're like, that's in 4 months from now. That's not the priority. Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah. Don't think about that one yet. Think about these. But it's fun because there's so many projects that are actually in development. Like when you look at, speaking of Vic Moya and talking about There Be Shadows, I mean, that book is so exciting to me. But then when you turn around and you go, hey, look, we've also got Utah VD now. What used to be formerly called Utah VD is now Cretaceous Biohazard. And that's another
That's
one
water
that
cooler talk.
is that water cooler talk? Oh, fuck. But y'all can't let me talk. You know what I mean? So we've got Cretaceous coming out, and Cretaceous is going to be a lot of fun. I was a big fan of Resident Evil as a kid, and I was a big fan of everything Capcom put out, Parasite Eve and stuff like that, and I was like, man, I gotta do my own shit that would be fun, because zombies are a thing right now and people are really into that type of environment. But I was like, I don't write anything that anybody else does, so what can I do different? What can I do to make it our own, to make it ethereal and not a clone of everybody else's work? So I sat down and I started working on Cretaceous, and it just a different story than anything I've ever seen anywhere, and very hyper violent book, very different than the normal ethereal violence, which I'm not going to say isn't hyper violent, because issue 2 of BGD was fucking tough.
Fallen Leaves number 1.
Yeah, but
Okay,
yeah,
whatever.
not as maybe like story wise as violent, but BGD 2 had some, we designed some dudes getting fucked up in that book. But I remember talking to David Campo about the dynamics of blood splatter in humidity.
Wait,
the
what?
actual, yeah. So when you're in a spa, right? When you're in a spa, you're surrounded by water.
Yes.
Water is literally everywhere, right?
Vapor.
So there's water in the air. There's nowhere you're not getting wet. You know what I mean? And anyway, so when we started doing the coloring and the gore in that particular issue, it was like you can't just do lines of blood. You got to think about the blood that's going to get caught in the air and the mist effect that it's going to have.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's super gory. You also get Dino Dick in that fucking issue. But anyway, so that was
It's like a token on your resume.
It is. I don't know anybody else that's done an anthropomorphic dinosaur penis in a comic.
I don't know either. Well, I'm sure there's plenty, but not to our
not
level.
published comic book. I don't know too many of those.
Can't
We're
tell,
winning.
but I'm
in that.
raising my hands.
Yeah, you're a mess. I'm not messing with you or anything. Type of thing. But No, Jesus. So anyway, so
Take the
the
wheel.
Cretaceous is very much a group of mercenaries go to rescue an individual and get caught up in a bunch of shit type of book. It's very self-explanatory, but it's so much fun. It's just fun because it's very like most of our books have underlying storytelling and there's mystery involved and you're wondering about things. Cretaceous is like, come on, put your quarter in the machine and let's fucking go.
That's what she said.
Oh,
the
wow.
I've been holding that one in the whole. It's fine.
You've been holding that one in. Well, I don't believe you ever hold it in there, Squeeze.
Oh man, I have some sense of a filter.
No.
Not much.
Okay.
You're
okay,
welcome.
that shit gets erased with your eraser. So
My back.
anyway, you can't be talking about the back on live. That's not good. So there's this concept though where I wanted to have a book where you guys could pick it up and get into the action. Like I didn't want to build up this massive story for you guys. I wanted for you to learn what was going on as you were going through the book. And it's we've got a brand new artist on the team for Cretaceous. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I really do. I know that Blayden's working with him. I know that we've got a couple really, really cool panels that have been shown off, some pages, and I'm really excited about it. And that'll be here within the next couple months. So you guys get to see more and more of that. Dinosaurs, zombies, and all kinds of other mean-ass shit trying to eat people. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a romp. We'll put it that way. Because originally it was going to be called The Rot, and April wasn't having that.
I like that. I like that title.
Right? Like that's what I was going to... Working title was The Rot, and she was like, no, because that just sounds like bad stuff. And I was like...
Yeah, but you could have spelled it like WROT. You're like, it would have been different.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You might have missed on that one.
Yeah. Whatever. I wasn't trying to offend the...
You're not offending. I just think it's like I worked in the ER for far too long. And
yeah. Well, it was supposed to be gross, right? The book is fucking gnarly.
I don't know.
Like it's a gnarly ass book. But back into like the cutesy stuff, we've got My Metal Girl coming out, and we've got a brand new artist working on My Metal Girl. And that's gonna be a lot of fun too. Claudio.
I like his name.
I like his artwork.
But whatever.
But he's a nice guy. The art looks good. You know what I mean? So I think we've got like 5 new IPs you guys are going to be coming across before the end of the year. And then we've got the holiday special this year, which is very, very cool. And that'll be like a 4-issue miniseries this year for Halloween. So I'm mad hyped about that. That's my project for next week to start fucking putting that together. But really, really excited about it.
I might have some ideas for that one.
Yeah. Nate, let me tell you, this one is fucked. So it's wild. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but I think that you guys got a lot to see between now and then. My Metal Girl dropping, we've got There Be Shadows dropping, you've got your next issue of Greed coming, you've got BGD coming. I mean, there's a lot to be seen. Not to mention If It Hops, you know what I mean? There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out between now and then. And I think that you guys are really, really going to dig. Oh my gosh, Kill Cam coming too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of books, and it's something that I'm so proud of everyone working on, and so grateful that everybody puts their heart into all these projects. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see, because nowadays, like when you look at companies, right, like I keep telling all of them that my goal for the company is to be a household name by the end of the year. You know, indie name anyway. I'm not saying that it's Marvel or DC or any fucking shenanigans like that, but real world ideas and real world like goals. You know, I think that we can be an indie household name by the end of the year. And when it comes to things like, you know, even Aspen's not putting out books at the rate we're putting out books. You know what I mean? There's, you know, IDW is, you know, putting out 1 to 2 books a month right now. You know, I'm to this point where, you know, Blayden has got me hyped about putting out 3 books a month by the end of the year. And I know that's going to give April a heart attack, but we are.
He's safe. He's not within stabbing distance. It's fine.
we're steadily working toward that goal by the end of the year to have 3 books out a month. That's our.
But really, the only obstacle that prevents us from doing that is just efficiently running it live on Kickstarter at the same time. I mean, unless we decide to have 2 run on Kickstarter and 1 on Indiegogo or something like that, like I just don't know how to do it. Because they only allow you to have so many projects in the works, and that's just a fundamental Kickstarter issue. I think it'll be a lot easier once we have that track record of fulfillment. And there might be an opportunity to start a dialogue with Kickstarter and see if they would make an exemption for us. But I think we got to get through a couple of, like, you know, dealing with the bank or with a loan or whatever. You have to have the track record to show that of honorable intent, we got goods. And
yeah, like right now we've had. Oh my gosh.
We've got several projects that are like close to being halfway done. Not to mention the ones that are actually complete. We've got scripts out the ass. Yeah. That might need a once over for punctuation.
You need to stop. Stop with my poor punctuation.
But honestly, we've got the goods. We've got the artists. We've got an amazing team that we've built together. I think that we have truly put together the recipe for success. And I'm very excited to see how this time next year, what we have to put in our hat and be like, wow, we accomplished this. It was successful. Here's what we are ambitiously looking at for 2024. I think the very next thing that we get to actually do is fold a convention season in with our launches and see how we do in that regard. Because honestly, I think that we're doing incredibly well with the production side of things. So
well, yeah, I agree entirely. Nate, do you have any questions? I'm going to give you free reign, Nate. Free reign to ask any fucking question about any title you want.
Oh my God.
So, first of all, to piggyback on April. So, I hate Indiegogo, just to be honest.
Oh, that's okay.
I won't use it.
I've only done it once. It didn't work. I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
I won't use it. So that's not a concern.
Yeah.
I hate, because for me, like, I buy a tier, I buy a bunch of add-ons. I can't do that with Indiegogo. I get to buy one thing and I have to go rebuy it again.
Right.
Oh, really?
And half the time they don't figure it out how not to double charge you on shipping.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not the platform. So I mean, Kickstarter is definitely the best platform to use
for sure.
I definitely find it more user friendly.
Yeah, the question would be how long.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Bye.
Because I've seen some Kickstarters, do the 2-week thing. Some people do the month long. Hell, I saw one do 45 days, and that was like way too long. So I think 30 days, of course, is like the magical sweet spot, for a lot of people.
See, by the way, I don't even like 30 because when we do 30, it's like it like right now, what we do to make it better for people is we always offer the same product we offered the project before as an add-on.
Yep.
Like you can always go back, or you can go to the website, which fucking hates me right now, but you can go to the website and snag books from there. But it's always going to be one of those things where I don't use Indiegogo. I'll never use Indiegogo. So it's a misnomer. It's not anything anybody has to worry about because I used them. First off, they didn't pay me. I didn't get my fucking money. So I ended up putting out a shit ton of books and not getting paid.
That's fucked up.
So yeah, it was the whole situation was stupid. So I'm not going to use them again, you know, but everybody still got their books, and that's what matters to me. You know what I mean? All the fans that picked up their books still got their books, but whatever. But no, I just when it comes to books, it'll always be Kickstarter or the website. Those are the places you'll be able to get them, or you can buy them from us directly. You know what I mean? It's not an issue. Normally, I have them, or April has them, or Blayden has them. Someone's got the issues that you're looking for, and you won't have to wait for them to be printed. But if it's if it's one of those books that we're going to print indefinite numbers of, they're easy to get. You know, if you're looking for a certain cover, like cover A's, we'll always be able to get cover A's. You know, it's stuff like that that's super easy. But do you have any questions about IPs? Like I'm literally giving you the floor for the next 30 minutes. I will answer any question you have about IPs. Doesn't matter which ones they are.
Well, I wanted to talk about the rot first.
Let's go. Let's talk about that. That
not just the title.
Let's talk about it.
How are you going to make the zombies different than everybody else that does zombies today? Because, like, for example, I've been watching Last of Us like everybody else. You know,
dinosaur zombies.
You know, and I love it because it's like the whole old school. You know, I played the games, went through 1 and 2. I love how they did it. But zombies have been done so much. Kirkham's zombies versus Sudam's, you know, and the Marvel side. So how is yours going to be different than everybody else?
So first off, ours are dinosaurs. First off, and second off, it's a play off of something that makes sense to me. And just like The Last of Us, the clickers and the zombies and stuff makes sense to me. So I wanted to do something that made sense because I'm going to be real. The Walking Dead never made any sense to me. Like you just woke up and there were zombies. That made no sense to me. You know what I mean? So and the same thing with Marvel. You know what I mean? You pulled zombies from another universe to bring zombies over here. I try to keep our books as grounded as I can possibly keep them. And that goes for all of them, even if they're fucking out of this world. I like to keep them making sense. Or then it's if I can't, it's dumb to me. You know, if we're talking about a character and her machinations and why she does things, they have to make sense. They can't just be like random, oh, well, that fucking work. It doesn't work for me because my mind goes to places. And if the shit doesn't work, it doesn't work, you know? But anyway, so the concept, and we'll get into it, and it'll explain what you're asking. The concept of Cretaceous is you have this group of people that it's the same thing in modern day America and modern day, India and a couple other places where you've got all this money and you've got old money and stuff, and they're sending their children to school and all kinds of other jazz. Well, this family happens to, be bajillionaires or whatever, and they send their son to, to college, and he wants to study dinosaurs. So, they're like, oh, well, he wants to be an archaeologist or whatever he wants to do. And so they send him off to school, and he gets out of school. Well, they've got all this money, so they immediately start doing their own digs. Well, you find out that all their money comes from genetic research and science. And so they were more than happy to send him for archaeology and whatever. So they send him down to South America, and they've got a dig there. Well, all of a sudden people quit talking. You quit hearing back from the dig, and you quit hearing back from the facility. So the local police and local military are sent in, and they stop coming back. So now they send in a black ops team, which is who becomes your main characters of the book. So they're going to find these people's son and his friends and bring them back, you know. And early on, you learn that there may not be bringing people back, you know. So, but the concept of the science works like this. So Jurassic Park came in, right? And in Jurassic Park, you were using frog DNA and all kinds of other stuff to fill in the holes, the genetic gaps, and which ended up allowing the dinosaurs to change sexes and colors. And, you know, you started getting your craziness with the ability to use the camouflage from the little squid that they added to the one, and so on and so forth. Well, I don't believe that's feasible. I believe you can try it, which therein comes the science for Cretaceous. Like they started bringing things back, but they don't last. The genetic code doesn't work. So now all of a sudden these things are starting to rot.
Okay.
So they're only alive for so long before they literally start decomposing. And this, what they've done is the science has been able to keep them moving and stuff, but they're dying. You know what I mean? They're literally not existing. And none of the scientists are able to keep them alive. So they keep trying different things and doing different, you know, different soups, if you will, to keep these beings alive. So instead of just, you know, going, oh shit, this isn't working, maybe we scrap this, they're like, well, all this money's been involved, we're not going to, so we're going to keep trying. And the more they tried, the worse things got. So now you've got these undead dinosaurs tromping around and making people sick. So you get the group there and they're trying to find the survivors, and that's basically where it starts. And eventually it will be a whole deal, like countries wide deal for the book. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It reminds me of Resident Evil, like when the T virus got out, you know, kind of situation.
Yep.
You know, they kept trying. They made tyrants. They made everything else. You know, kept going,
Yep.
and then it never worked out the way they thought it was going to be, and then everybody died
sure.
almost.
Well, that's human nature. We continue to try to control things that are out of our control. So I think that it's a fun concept, mixing like actual zombies with like a dino crisis type of, you know, situation. And you've got all these different characters. Like we were looking at designs, like what kind of characters would we like to have? What kind of mercenaries would we like to work with? They need to be different types of character archetypes than we've used before, you know, and basically we're creating our own archetypes as we go, you know, which is hard enough as it is because the wheel's been made a million fucking times. So now you're going in and you're trying to create your own character archetypes that people find interesting. You know, who is this? Why is this? You know, we've got characters called, you know, Salt and Pepper. And Salt and Pepper are a duo that is ready to retire from mercenary work. And this will be their last job, you know, and they're in love with each other. And we show that they're this super fun couple, you know, and we have to use that in situations where, you know, are they helping each other out of bad spots? You know, they love each other, so how are they going to react to certain stimulus and so on and so forth? So I think that everybody will be able to enjoy it in a way that it feels fresh and it doesn't feel beat up, it doesn't feel used up. You know, because like there are certain things, like I told April and Blayden, that I didn't want to write. You know, and I've never wanted to get back into, and it was things like werewolves and vampires and zombies, and because I feel like the whole world uses them on the constant. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't want to write things that people already write. But man, if I didn't have this dream and wake up and be like, that'd be a fucking badass book, dinosaurs and zombies and all kinds of bad shit. You know, and it was just something that the young boy in me that would sit and watch scary movies on a Saturday night would want to read, you know, and everything I put out is something I would want to read. You know what I mean? So it's like I go to places in my own head and I take out things that I remember. I remember being 10 years old and somehow managing to get the VHS copies of Species from Blockbuster every other couple weekends to show my buddy that there were boobies on the train. You know what I mean? It was like there are things that I just remember from my youth that I always want to be able to give people in different ways, exciting ways. I'm very grateful that we have a large population of Ethereal backers and readers is female. So I always keep that in mind as well. You know what I mean? That they enjoy this or they would like to read this. And I always go to my wife or I always go to April. And I'm like,
Hair flips.
hair flips, right? So I always go to them and I ask them, what they think of this or what they think of that. And, would this be interesting for them if they read it, because as much as, Shawnee's one of them too. You know what I mean? As much as we push, the lusty and the blood and the gore, you know what I mean? There's always that sensuality that we try to bring into Ethereal. I'm always trying to make it as much as it's brutal and whatnot, I try to make it sexy. Like every book that comes out, not even like when you say the term, when you think of sexy, I don't mean just like this, like erotic or like overly pornography, like your porn and stuff. I try to make it sensual to your eyes and your receptors, what you're picking up. Would this entice you? That's like when people say food is sexy. Food can be sexy. You know what I mean? Artwork is beautiful and can be super sexy. And it's like, I would love to make a panel of a character with their guts ripped out by a massive fucking zombie velociraptor thing. Not a velociraptor, a Utah raptor, because velociraptor is the size of a turkey. But it's literal, like how beautiful you can make that page, and as gross and gory at the same time, but realize that you've just witnessed a real piece of fucking art that one of these guys has spent 18 or gals from Ethereal has spent 18 to 20 fucking hours putting this shit together for you to be like feast upon it with your eyes. Those are things that I really want people to take in, because before I got into comics, like professionally publishing, I never realized how much time was put into each individual page and or panel, so like Blayden is like a NASCAR fucking driver when it comes to fucking pages and shit, but most people aren't that fast. So when they're sitting down and they're like, hey, I worked for 18 hours on this, or I did this for 20 hours and stuff, that's something that is, you can't get back. So they're like right now, April, she's doing this amazing piece on this blank cover for Squeeze Them. Okay, so every one of these people puts their lives into these pieces. And that's something that I want Ethereal to show. I want you to be able to feel how awesome these pieces are when you open these books and these panels and everything else. Because the one thing we can't get back is time. And they're spending their lives on these pages and these panels. And I want you guys to see that. I want you guys to be able to feel how powerful the imagery is when you get it in your hand. With a book like Theater 7, it's fun and it's wistful and it's great. And let me tell you, there are pages in Theater 7 that made me fucking blush. There's no question about that. Yeah, there were definitely pages where even I was like, well, issue 2 had me blushing a lot more than issue 1.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
There are pages, Devin had me laughing. He'd be like, don't forget the locker room humor. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do all that. And he's like, well, you do this, 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 and this. You've got this. And I'm like, all right. So Heather was going through and reading it the other day. And she was literally like, are you kidding? And she's laughing. Like, she was like, did you really write that? Like, I was like, yeah. And she was like, all right. but there are ways that we try to give you guys things to absorb. And like with Theater 7, my goal is to always make people smile or to enjoy the situations, because whether male or female, you could imagine what the individual is going through, or what they're, how hyped they are about a situation, or how embarrassed they were over this or that. Eventually Penny gets to the point where she's used to being naked. You know what I mean? That's, in the beginning, she's like, holy shit, this is not great. But eventually she's just like, well, it's happened again. It's that fucking writer's fault. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
It's like the breaking the fourth wall with Gen 13.
That's
Yeah.
what you should do. You should see Devin can like have her look at you like she's pretending to look at you.
yeah.
Give you a little bubble says, "Why, Dustin? Why?"
Yeah, basically. What the fuck are you doing to me now?
It'd
but
be like a 90s sitcom. Dustin.
yeah, right. Oh my gosh. But so like when I was writing issue 3, I knew ahead of time, what we were getting into with doing the big snake arc. You know what I mean? Dick jokes abound. We all knew that was coming. But it's a lot of fun. She has a good time. It is a little bit more action packed than we've shown you guys with that character yet, with the big snake book, because she's actually living through the eyes of one of those characters. So she's actually going through basically the entire film through the eyes of another character.
Preview of that and Squee After Dark.
You are a mess. It was a great image.
You gave me carte blanche. God, I went for it.
Oh, I know you did. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have seen. Oh, thank you
I've
for
seen it
helping me
now.
with my PDFs.
Yeah, I've seen it all.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. I've seen it all. So I've seen what you did to my poor Penny. I saw what you did to my poor Agent C and my poor elves. And, I've seen it all now.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I looked through the whole book once I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Poor Penny.
My commission was a lot, I'm going to say more reserved, just in case something happens, say one of the kids grabs it just by accident.
Right. I'm with you. Mine are not even allowed in my office. So, but anyway, so you got your Cretaceous questions through. No character from Ethereal is safe. Not a single character is safe. So do you have any for Fallen Leaves? Do you have any for There Be Shadows?
Yeah, I do for If It Hops, actually.
Okay.
We didn't talk a whole lot about that one tonight, with If It Hops. We got 2 coming out not too long from now, but then 3. Are we going to see 3 this year or next year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. 3 will be only a few months away, to be honest with you.
Give me a second. I can tell you.
3 is going to be a really interesting book because you get introduced to
Theater 7, then Breed, Kill Cam, Underland, and then If It Hops.
Okay,
so we're looking at probably June for launch, end of May, June.
Yeah, it's not long at all.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I appreciate. Like, you guys are putting a lot of books out, which keeps me highly entertained as a reader. But also the artwork. Like, I showed you guys, I bought the Underland one for Marissa, just for that reason. I told her, I said, I want anything and everything you're going to have. And she said, okay, get in line. Because there's some other people who want it too. But that's because I'd like to support the brand, because I believe what you guys are doing,
Well, we appreciate you, man. It's
just like the listener got funded today, and it just ended, and you guys made a 1,026 out of it. So I am happy for it.
We appreciate
it, Justin.
Oh, thank you so much. I
But
am still, yeah, I
the,
really want people to get to learn the story and to be able to dig it. And we're gonna do I think April and I are working on doing these uh like giveaways for the listener as we go forward with other campaigns, like with Greed, because there are tie-ins to Greed. We appreciate you, Shawnee. We got a lot of
oh
love
yeah,
for you guys. Um, but we're gonna do some giveaways with the books that it's tied to and related to. Like, we'll do some giveaways with Greed when it comes out, to show you guys where Lee actually came from. Her first appearance was in the listener, so we'll do a giveaway with that, and we'll probably do it like a if you back X amount of dollars, you get a free copy of the listener, or whatever. You know what I mean? And going forward, though, whenever we do a issue that mentions characters from that book, we'll do a giveaway, so people can catch up on it if they so choose. But no, we're very, very grateful. I'm excited about it. I again am very, very emotionally tied to that book, just because again, a lot of the stories that came out of that were true stories, and it was just very tied to my family, and it's just very, very fueled by emotion. But yeah, so we've lots of stuff going on, but yes, lots of books, lots of IPs. If it hops, that's right now the next book that you guys all get in your homes is going to be Fallen Leaves 1. Or no, sorry, BGD, and then Fallen Leaves, and then If It Hops, and then Underland. So it's all dropping. You know what I mean? So everybody will be getting them at different time periods and whatnot. But very exciting. It's a very exciting time to be a fan, a friend, a team member. Because if you look at things like If It Hops, now you've got this huge world that we're working with. Now you're starting to see, like, we introduced Agent K, we introduced Ryoshi. I love unlocking pages. I really, really enjoy unlocking pages because we get to show more story to you guys, and we get to put in things that we want to put in the book, but we don't have enough room. Like the Stitches stuff.
now like with Theater 7, we had the preview of Fallen Leaves with it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that as a reader. For one reason is it ties me into, like, okay, I want to read the other series that are coming out to support it.
For sure.
Are we going to continue doing that with some of the books? Like, if it's like a tie-in book, then that'd be perfect, to have a preview for like one of those. But if it doesn't, maybe I can see why you wouldn't.
So when it came to previews, the thing about previews, and when we first started doing them, it wasn't cost efficient for us to do the previews. It was because of the way that we pay the artists out, and it's not cheap. So when you look at a comic book from Ethereal, it's generally $5,000 to $8,000 in production. That's before you print. That's before you ship. That's before anything. The book itself, just the covers, the art. You know what I mean? So you're like $8,000 in. So when I was doing the previews for books, it was like I was paying that $8,000 twice. And it was like, as we get larger, it's easier to do. You know what I mean? But at that point in time, it was a very, like, even with Fallen Leaves, like this past year, it's funny. We're only hitting into the third year of us putting out books, period. So if you look at the fact that we're putting out as many books as we are, at the quality that we are, in the time period that we are, it's a lot. So when I was putting out the previews, it dawned on me, I was like, how on earth am I going to put out a preview plus two to three full issues a month? It's just now you're looking at 24 grand before you even anything from a Kickstarter,
Yeah.
you know? And I just being honest with you, that was more my mentality was. I was like, we love the previews and we love being able to put them out, but you're paying a whole nother set of, because they don't reuse the art. So you're looking at a whole set of covers that we'll never use again. So, which people love because they're like, they hunt covers, which we love too. You know what I mean? We love our variants. But when you start looking at it, you're going, as well as people's pockets. That was something that was important to us as well, because we try to keep our prices fairly low. So when you go, well, now we're putting out 2 books a month. Well, if they get, say, 1 book a month from us, it was like $30. You know what I mean? For one of each issue, you know. But if we start throwing those previews in, now they want to get a preview too. Now they're at like 45. And we've never been ones to be like, it's about the money. It's about the money, because it's not. So it's about existing. I've never wanted to be rich, and April's never needed to be rich. Blayden doesn't need to be rich. I mean, it's all about putting out good content and available content that people can afford. So when we sit down and we go, if we're putting out 2 to 3 books a month, a preview it's just another cost, because now we're giving you to a preview for a book that's coming out in the same month almost, so like right now the goal was to always have the issues drop, like if you bought BGD3, right, the goal was to have BGD3 to you right when BGD4 went live.
Yeah.
That's how the whole printing thing was supposed to happen, and it was like that way. If you liked what you'd read, you didn't have to wait long to order the next issue. You know what I mean? But when it comes to previews, a preview could be for a book that we don't put out for 7 months. You know what I mean? And now you're like stuck holding your junk in your hand for 7 months before you get to read the book. And I was just like, well, that's just not very nice at all. You know what I mean? So, but it all, there was just a million different factors to it. And I enjoyed doing them for a little bit, but it also, the biggest thing came to me when my wife was like, so what do you call the first appearance? And I was like, fuck, because now, let's say, Nate, you've got most of our books and most of our previews. So, but the guy down the road that hunts first appearances, and let's say I only printed 70 of those previews, I'm never going to print those previews again. They'll be reprints if I do it. So now now you're going, well, now there's only 70 of those first appearances in the world.
Which makes them a hot collector's item.
It does. It does. But let's look at those of us that collect and go, have been collecting forever. It sucks when you can't get them, and it may be considered unfair. You know what I mean? To make things like that. And again, maybe. I mean, I've never been out to chase cash. That's not what it's about. So
no, but I mean, there's something very appealing at being,
for sure. I get that. The LE70. You're like, I'm with you on that. But it, like I said, it was an amalgamation of different things that made me decide that it probably wasn't the best idea for us to do the previews all the time. And I think that. No, you're right there, Shawnee. I mean, I get it. I never want people to feel like it's ever, we're out to get something or out for more than we deserve or anything like that. So, but it, like I said, it's not the only reason. There's a couple of really good ones. Cost is one of them. You know what I mean? And it, again, dropping 2 books a month, you're at $16,000 in production. So when it comes to your books, you have to do better, and which we do. You know what I mean? We're growing exponentially. to our fans and thanks to the friends that we have and everybody involved in the team, whatever. It's like that. I look at Ethereal like the Big Bang. Okay. Like I really do. Like, April and I had a conversation the other day about what it takes for certain things to happen, right? All these little things had to come together to make Ethereal. Like April had to be free, Blayden had to be free, I had to have the motivation. There were all these little nuances that had to happen at any given point in time. Fans like Shawnee had to come in and had to, give me especially, the confidence to be able to continue to pump out product and to have faith in product and stuff, and to be able to put out product that I hope and what I put out to be something that you guys as fans and as backers and as collectors can be proud that you collect or you're a part of or more about. You know what I mean? I giggle like a schoolgirl when I walk by people at shows and stuff that are talking about our books. Like it's still like Christmas to me whenever anybody buys a single issue. You know what I mean? And I think that putting out the full books and giving them the energy, that all the energy we have is what we can do right now. Because, like, again, doing 2 books a month is a lot of energy. Like, you ask April, she had no idea what she was walking into when she got on with Ethereal.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. But it's also, like, it takes a while to get to know who you're working with, how they like their files, if they need extra hand holding, how to send important information in a way that they're able to jot it down. You don't hit somebody up while they're driving to school to pick up their kid. You have to wait until they're sitting at their desk. Put a reminder if it's something on the fly. I don't know. Like,
for sure.
I was taught how to create items on the drive so that it could be accessed through, I don't know, anywhere 24 hours a day,
Right.
7 days a week, rather than me having to have my handy dandy notebook at my side every single second. There's a lot of give and take when you're dealing with this many team members, and that's really what it is. I mean,
43 or 53 now.
53 now? Oh, okay. Last time I looked, it was like 49 or something.
Yeah, 53 because we added the new colorists.
That's awesome. So yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with the stable of artists that we have. And what's really great is that nobody's under contract. They're free to move about the country to any company that they want. If they are busy and cannot meet a title, no problem. We'll offer the next title when it comes up, where if there's a particular book that they want, I'll add them to my list of hit-ups whenever that time comes around. The idea is that we want to have it be mutually beneficial for our teammates to work with us. And as we go into convention season, it sounds weird to say that because conventions happen all year round, but we do know that there is a lull during the wintertime because it's like sucks to dig your car out of snow and travel.
Ice.
Yeah, like ain't nobody down for none of that voluntarily. Anyway.
That shit.
Yeah, forget that. Southwest, here I come.
Yeah, no shit,
so,
right?
Yeah, right. But I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot trying to travel via air with all my junk. You get real picky about what you take.
Certain airline that we won't ever fly again.
That's so funny. Okay.
I want to hear this one.
Oh my god.
No, they destroyed my fucking luggage.
Oh, that was so funny. You lost a wheel.
That was so fucking shit.
Oh, you had
on my back. I threw out my back on Monday. I haven't laughed this hard in a while. I
No.
almost pissed myself whenever I like sneezed in the car. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die!" And so laughing is hard. It's not great.
No,
But yeah,
they
so
fucking suck.
right.
They suck so bad. No,
Well,
so we got
my
the
very
we got
first
the
time.
plane.
My very
You
first
saw
time
it, right?
flying, I was
Yeah.
going to amazing Hawaii. And so it's one thing if you're just, going down the street or whatever, but I was like, oh my God, like I wound up having to pay an extra $100 or something just because my luggage was over and there was very little I could do to get it offset it. But I did offset it getting out there, but I took a different airline back and they had a lower poundage amount and I couldn't get away with it. So I wound up having to actually pay it. Oh my gosh, I was so mad.
No.
That and I go through this special screening all the time.
No. I'm never flying anything that's not Southwest again.
Oh my gosh. They are so good though. I love
They
Southwest.
are.
They
They're so
are.
good.
They are.
So I took this shitty ass airline, and I'm not going to say what they were. They're fucking shit. So it's like they're fucking shit. Somebody could pay me to be a spokesperson to speak against their shit ass airline. So I've brought like enough books for Blayden, April, and Lieris to Vegas. Like I brought like 6 fucking short boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the plane. So in my luggage, 6 fucking short boxes. So I got this. I went and I bought this super luggage, right? Like this $150, $160 fucking piece of luggage. I bought like 2 of them. So my shit would be safe and whatever else, right? So I go to put my luggage on the plane and the dude slaps this use 2 hands, it's heavy sticker on my fucking shit. And I had to pay more for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they pay more for the heavier fucking luggage. And when we get to Vegas, my fucking wheel has been broken off my fucking luggage. And it's like not the wheel on the side that doesn't have the pulley thing. It's the wheel on the side with the pulley thing. So then, and it's not just broke my wheel off. It's like broke the entire.
The whole
Shawnee was
chunk
there.
of the
Shawnee
suitcase
was
is
there.
gone.
So it not only broke the wheel off, but it broke all the way up into the foam of the fucking of the luggage. Like up into my luggage. And so I go to put in like a report, and they're just like, fuck you, there's nothing wrong with this shit. And I'm like, the fuck? I need to see a manager. We don't have those. What the fuck? Give me to somebody that can take my fucking report. You know? Oh, it was just ass. We got to figure out how to see the Facebook users.
Well, we can see Shawnee, and she's on Facebook.
Yeah,
Well, hello there, F.U. I'm so glad that you're here. No, that sounds terrible. Facebook user, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's quite fancy, which is going on down there.
I don't know. I was going to abbreviate it, but it was not good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't do that.
I won't do that. No. It's special request.
So let's talk a little bit about we've got There Be Shadows coming, right? And Vic
Oh
Moy.
my god, that is beyond the 6-month mark.
Is it really?
We're gonna get him all excited, and he's gonna start writing 5 issues. And I'm gonna be like, so how's Underland? You'll be like, oh yeah, about that. Hey you guy. I'll be like,
yes.
Hey you guys.
Get that shit to me. This is part of our rapport.
Yeah, Shawnee, I'm using StreamYard. I guess that's what it is to re-register or in order for our names to appear. That makes sense.
Well, I did have a question about Underland. So, I've been looking at kind of like the big multiverse that you have in Ethereal.
Yep.
Where does Underland fall in?
It's its own thing.
Is it?
It's not. It's not part of the only books that are connected that we've said and alluded to being connected so far are Greed, The Listener, and Frog Legs are the only books so
Oh.
far that are
Oh, you haven't.
So-
Because I was thinking you were talking about the undead dinosaurs.
uh-huh.
That would be a perfect avenue. Like if that was the predecessor to BGD.
Yeah, it's a fun concept, isn't it?
It is.
Fun concept, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are things that tie into BGD. You're about to see there's a what is that called? April, the
Crossover.
no, we've got These Neon Streets coming out.
Anthology.
And it's an anthology which will have a couple stories in it that are in the past.
That's
In that
within our 6-month window. You can absolutely
Is it?
talk about that. Yes.
Oh man, we can
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
it's on
These
the
Neon
cusp.
Streets.
But yeah, there it is.
Okay, well that's a
And
big one.
go.
That's a big book. That's like a
That's halfway
honker
done.
book though.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think what do we got? 6 stories in that. 5 stories.
5 stories, each 12 pages long.
No, not all of them are 12. I don't think, are they?
Close to 12 pages long.
Okay, right on.
All right.
Right on.
We've got new guy that is illustrating one story. We've got
JT Malloy did a whole story.
yes,
Ooh.
he did.
I love what
Let me
he's
see if
doing
I
with the
can find
Spectre.
that actually. I can show you guys some of JT stuff.
I want to see.
Oh,
Yep.
actually, I take that back. There Be Shadows is right before These Neon
Ah!
Streets.
Oh,
You may actually talk about both of them, and I'll be quiet. But These
That's
Neon
hilarious.
Streets is like, I would say 60% done.
Yeah, so JT did a story. It's 6 pages. For These Neon Streets, and I'm happy to show you guys a cool page from that. He's an incredible artist, old Mr. Malloy. Really good dude. We love working with JT. But These Neon Streets is super fun because it's a book that I've had in my back pocket for at least a year. JT's a riot. He sure is. But I've literally had it in my back pocket for about a year. We've all been working really hard on it. And it's just the more and more that we do, the more and more that it seems like it's reality. But that's the first page that JT did. It's a lot of fun. It's actually got 2 characters in it. And it's so These Neon Streets, what I did was I wrote beginning, middle, and end for a bunch of short stories, and I gave them to up and coming writers to see what they would do with them, and we'll publish their works. And a couple of those folks are coming to. There is a lot going on in those panels, yes, ma'am. And JT has an amazing way of storytelling. If you guys have ever picked up Sapphire Spectre, he has great storytelling abilities. But so we brought all these indie writers in to see what they would do with our, the short stories. Like Chuck Pinot's done one, and Chuck Pinot's his actual artwork is being done by none other than April Reyna. So that should be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I had my buddy Andy, who I'm trying desperately to get in the scene because he's very, very talented. He wrote a short story. He had his own way with one of my short stories. And his is actually about Corvos and Corvos's backstory and like how he gets to be who he is and stuff like that. Then Sean Forney's got one that he fully wrote in there that should be fun as well. Man, then George Medina's got one in there. There's some good shit in there, man. Some really, really talented artists working on it. So we'll get that one out there. But yeah, I'm excited about everything going out. But There Be Shadows is one that's, April keeps poking at me about because I'm very, very excited about it. Like
Yes,
it's
he is.
like like I said, I enjoy all our books, but there's some times when I get so into a story that I can't put it down. And that's probably one of them. There Be Shadows is one that I'm having a hard time putting down at all. Just because I enjoy writing it. Like I'm very much I just keep imagining Vic Moya's artwork on it and stuff. Or like we've got another one that we're not going to really talk about, but we've got a book coming out called Where They Dwell, and that's another one that I can't seem to put down. It's just it's the way that we, you brought up world building and what it is to create worlds, and I've desperately tried to keep most of them apart. I really, really have. Because as much as I love seeing the listener characters in Greed and the listener characters in Frog Legs as well, it's I still want each individual product to have its own face and its own, you know, uh, look and its own vibe. I never want to go and grab a character that wouldn't vibe with another group of characters and then throw them together. That's like taking a friend group, and you've got one buddy that is not going to get along with everybody else, but he's still your buddy, and you want to bring him to hang out. It's one of those things that you just don't do because you're not trying to offend anyone, or you're not trying to, mix alcohols even. You know what I mean? You're like, well, this works well with this, and you damn sure don't want the Chianti with that. You know what I mean? It's not going to be great. But again, the listener world and Greed and Frog Legs is huge. You know what I mean? It's very, very large. And like I said, I'll probably put the listener aside for a little while. We've been talking about that. But there's more and more stories to come out. You know what I mean? There's Lee's stories. There's Arya's stories. If you picked up the last issue of Greed, we actually did a little bit of an intro for those characters for the additional pages that we added for that book, which would in fact be the first appearance of Jack the Ripper in our books, who I had no idea was going to be naked till I got the book. No one told me he was going to be naked. And I'm pretty sure that was a Blayden Hunter thing. No one fucking told me he was going to be naked. But that's okay. I was super cool with it. It made sense to me. Because he doesn't want to get his clothes dirty and stuff. I get it. But you're going to get all the backstories with these characters like Lee and Arya and the things they're going through and how Arya died, because we haven't shown any of that yet. What happened, where the listener is, because in Greed, that's who they're hunting. They're looking for the listener in Greed. So, but you get introduced to Cuchulainn, and Cuchulainn's a fun character, Then you get Wrath, and like you just saw that cover earlier from Blayden, Wrath is cool as shit, Still the scariest character I've ever written to this day.
Scariest kid I've ever seen in a freaking book.
He's terrifying.
I mean, I've read a lot of bad books, but come on, man, a little Nazi kid,
Yeah, he's tough, man. He says some shit. But there are stories. I think that April and I and Blayden recently have talked about actually going in, and we have a book called Geese Journal that was a limited print that actually only went out to like friends and family and to a few Kickstarter backers. But it was backstory for a bunch of different characters in that world. Gabriella had painted these beautiful full-size paintings, and then we did short stories to go with the full-size paintings. And that's what we did with the Geese Journal. We literally made a full book out of these beautiful paintings. And so I think what we're going to do is go back and touch on these, because they're basically horror stories, and I think we may end up going in and making a almost like a Are You Afraid of the Dark type of storybook with these amazing stories that we've put together, um, which would be a lot of fun and give more and more into that world, more and more into the world of greed and if frog legs, so um, I think that frog legs is going to touch on things that people are really, really interested in, because the more and more that we look at things like the voodoo and the cover art and the little bit we're showing, the feedback has been very, very positive. So I think that we're really, really excited to get into this world. I'm really excited to start the Kickstarter tomorrow. Um, I mean, I am over the moon about it, to be honest with you. There's a bunch of stuff where, we're putting together. There's, I mean, just these amazing covers and amazing story and characters and, the whole nine, that I'm ready to jump on, man. Like I'm so ready.
Did you send out the link yet for the one launching tomorrow for Frog Legs?
No, I'm waiting for the approval.
Oh yeah.
So what we've decided to do was wait till the end of this campaign and then shoot out the approval. I know that Russ is working on it right now.
Russ does everybody's. I was talking to him the other day because he was trying to help me out with another Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I was waiting on a metal book to get, and sometimes metal books take a long time to get.
Really? Okay.
Well, it was a golden medal, one of one kind of deal, from Marat.
Okay.
But it just took forever to get them. I mean, and Russ had to go find it.
Oh, right on. Well, Russ is good for stuff like that, man.
He is.
He's really in tune with that stuff. He is a powerhouse, for sure.
He is.
Absolute powerhouse. So, do you have any questions about If It Hops? Do you have anything?
I do. So with If It Hops, we're going to see that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to get into some of the backstories? Like, when we started with If It Hops, we were just thrown into it. Like, she's here. This is where we're going. We know that there's a killer. You couldn't tell like what kind of killer was it, what kind of animal it was. Was it a jackal? Was it a hyena? Was it a werewolf? Werewolf.
Right.
Kind of thing. It almost, as sad as it was, I was thinking about Prowl at the time from Adam. Because Adam's Prowl is a little bit like that, but it's a good guy. It's like the alternate, Prowl.
Right.
So I want to see how that character turns out, and see what who he kills further, and does C only make a certain amount of time in the book, or we can actually have C for a long time.
C is going to. You'll start finding that If It Hops diversifies in its characters, and as much as she's the main character, there are other main characters.
Mm-hmm.
You start like I said earlier, you've got Agent K, who is going to be a main character that you'll start seeing more and more of. You've also got Ryoshi, who you'll start seeing way more of Ryoshi because she's a great character as well. But you've got this in book 2, which you guys are getting in the next couple months, before the campaign for book 3 goes live. You're going to actually have this character that you meet, and C is going to get into it with a character in issue 2, and the character is going to look very different in issue 2 than what you've seen the character before in issue 1. So it's going to be very interesting. It's one of those things where is all meets the eye. You know what I mean? Is it all what you really see going on in If It Hops? Are the police to be trusted? Or, you know what I mean? What is really going on in If It Hops?
Like, I don't trust the chief at all.
Right. Oh, poor Panda. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on, and you're literally she starts questioning things as she's going through this story. because things stop adding up with this individual and these killers and stuff like that. Because there's not only one killer, there's all kinds of other stuff going on. And then we alluded to what the Fox have going on right now
What
as
does
well.
the fox say?
All kinds of not nice things about other people, to be honest with you. But the Fox have their own story to play, and in issue 3, you're going to get a lot more Ryoshi. You're going to get a lot more of, it's all going to culminate. You'll notice that I like to build up to the 4th issue. And because we do the trade paperbacks every 4 issues. So I like to build up to the 4th issue and have things settled at issue 4. And I not done, but an understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I like to start new mysteries and stuff after that 4th issue. So it's because I like to, for those people that buy the trade paperbacks, to be able to enjoy the full arc of what's going on, Now, one thing about If It Hops is it's one of those books that has a actual rogues gallery, if you will. The other books most of the time will kill a character off, you know what I mean? But If It Hops has literally got its cast, of characters and what's going on with each individual of those characters. Like one of the main antagonists in If It Hops is eventually going to be their main character for their own story going forward. You're going to you get introduced to C's brother here shortly. And C's brother happens to have a thing for feline hoo-ha, so he's a big fan of Agent K. He's a big old fan of Agent K.
Poor K.
There's things about like that character, like K. I love feeling how powerful she is, and just that raw animalistic fury. But when she's around Decken, she's literally this almost kitten in the palm of his hand. And it's funny because she's this huge lion and he's this bunny. You know what I mean? And it's a great relationship between those two characters. But you're also going to find that the Jackal himself has a backstory, and the Jackal has motivations for what's going on and why, Then there's the whole, kill everything that hops thing. And, then there's the terrorist organization that gets involved. There's so much going on in the city, it's all moving all at the same time, just like BGD. I love writing BGD because it's always moving, it's never stopped, just because Ricky and Corvos are doing their thing doesn't mean there aren't other individuals with their own machinations making other moves in the shadows. We have a story coming up that's actually about a religious sect in the city that is goes out at night knocking on people's doors and stuff and asking them if they're willing to convert into their own belief systems and stuff. And it's composed all of humans that hate Saurians. But
you can see the uprising going to happen, of humans versus animals, down the road.
There's a lot going on, Then you've with If It Hops, you've got, like I said, you've got the Fox. And why were the Fox, we just started to show you the end of issue 2, some of the history about the Foxes being expelled from Eden, so why were they expelled? What happened? And we go into Ryoshi's story a little bit in the extra pages, because that's the Fox that we have. So we use her to tell story from their perspective, what's going on with them. Yes, I can create new Fox characters. Yes, I can go in and go, hey, look, these are the machinations behind them. But being who she is, I want you guys to see it from that perspective, because she was a child when they were removed from Eden. So I want you to see what she saw, and go through the story from her eyes now that she's a young adult, in these situations. So it's going to be interesting. Like when she's very small, though. So like when Kay saw her, Kay assumed she was a child, because they're small. She's big as lion, So there's just all kinds of things going on with all these different books and underlying storytelling, Like it's interesting when April comes and she's like, "Hey, what about this, this, and this?" And you're like, "Well, there's like 15 different things to explain what's going on, this, and this, or
Most
why."
of them know that they're in black, white, or camo.
Do what? Black, white, or camo? Good grief! And we're making fun of Ricky's clothes now? Get out of here!
You mean like everybody's clothes?
What?
What?
Black, white, or camo? We got purple too.
Because we've slipped it in. That's what she said.
Yeah, I wanted that shirt, that purple ethereal shirt that you had on the cover. I'm like, all right, where's my shirt at?
Right? That's not too bad, right?
We should make purple ethereal shirts.
I mean, that'd be good for the Kickstarter. Make it a $20, $25 shirt.
Yeah,
everybody buys it.
We should do purple shirts. Well, we're already I have to order more pillows. We got with BGD3's fulfillment coming up. Yeah.
See?
There you go, Shawnee. Shawnee has an ethereal shirt. She has one of 20. There aren't very many of them. Agent C needs bigger assets. I don't know how much bigger they could get without making being weird big. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. They're pretty hefty. At least.
In Kinktober, we make everything weird. So come see me in October.
Oh my gosh. Go see
the
whole
cover. I didn't do shit with her this time. I promise.
Now you're just waiting for this year. I understand.
I gotta have ambitions.
Ambitions. Oh my god. So mane shaving for a male lion. Oh my goodness. So anyway,
that tail.
You leave her tail alone.
Oh no, I used her tail.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
So you've got like I said, we were talking about there be shadows and where they dwell and all these other things. And it's funny that you have people that come up and they're like, how are you doing so much, or what are you doing? And it's because of the fans. It's because of the team. It's, so we have my thing is I'm very grateful because I don't ever get writer's block. And that's not to jinx myself, but
tempting fate. What are you doing? Take it all back.
I take it all back. But there's this concept of things where, there be shadows is something that is very, very new, I think. And I think that everyone will enjoy it because it's new and fresh. And to be honest, frightening. As much as, Shawnee pointed out, it's not for the faint of heart, anything we do. When it comes to characters like Wrath, I think Wrath is truly frightening. Especially, did I send you the trade paperback, Nate, for the listener?
Not yet. I put it on this Kickstarter.
Right on. So that has Guy's journal in it.
Okay.
And it's got Wrath's short story in it. And I truly think it's the most terrifying thing I've ever written. And but when it comes to There Be Shadows, I think I channeled that type of writing style into the entire book. I'm going to call it Tim Burton meets I don't know. Definitely feels real Tim Burton sometimes in that book, but it's literally about a young boy that gets sent to a home, you know, and it's like all these children live there and stuff in England in the early 1900s, and it's run by the church, and there's a lot of things going on.
When you say home, do you mean an orphanage?
I do. I was trying to be
Okay.
nice.
No,
Orphanage
it's
sounds so terrifying. It just doesn't
well,
sound.
that's what you're, writing, so that fits.
No, yeah, it fits. I love your butt cheeks down there you've got going on.
I know, right? Poke, poke,
Well,
poke, poke.
and for that time frame too, in the 1900s, I mean, the orphanages were not the way they are today.
No, for
You know,
sure.
you
It's
know, so it paints an asylum like
That's what
picture.
it's like. I mean, and that's what it should paint it like. It's literally like I told Vic when I was writing the script, I was like, "This is it should look like terrifying." You know what I mean? And as nice as the nuns are, you know what I mean, as sweet as they are, because they didn't write them like scary nuns, like poor mummy, can I have some more fucking porridge type of shit. You know what I mean? It's they're not abusing these children or anything. There are just other things at play.
Mhm.
And the other things at play are absolutely terrifying. And I think that either people are going to really, really love it. I don't think there's going to be in-betweens with this book. I think they're really, really going to love it, or it's just not going to be for certain individuals. But it's very much almost me trying to scare myself. What would I find terrifying? And Shawnee joking about seriously expect Raph to get or disturb dreams. I feel like they should. I think there are certain characters that we create that within Ethereal, like I want you to have characters that you can look at that are like rays of hope. Like I feel like this is
Mhm.
a ray of hope. You know what I mean? And Penny is this beautiful light of energy, and on that whole other perspective are characters like Wrath. I think he's very horrifying. And so you're going to meet a whole plethora, almost cast over here on that whole other side of the spectrum when it comes to There Be Shadows. I'm very proud of these characters and the fact that I can write them without being horrified of them myself. But I think you guys will enjoy them. I really, really do. I think that the artwork's going to be stunning. The cover work will be beautiful. I don't want to give away too much about the book because of the guesswork involved and the story, like the mystery of it, because it very much is a who's who of what type of book, like what is this? How is this? And there's going to be so many times when I know for a fact people are like, I've got it figured out. Same thing with If It Hops.
Yeah.
If you've got If It Hops figured out by now, I'm really doing something wrong. Because If It Hops is I'm up to issue like 5 written right now, and I've barely started like leaking into what's really going on in If It Hops. So I'm really, really excited about it, man. Like, oh my gosh, super excited about it.
Well, I'm having fun going through it. Now, you know me, I pick everything apart when I'm going through a story.
For
And
sure.
same way with artwork. I pick apart every little thing. And it's
Yeah.
not to be not giving bad criticism, but it just to like if it's an expand,
For sure.
the knowledge base. You're like, hey, what
Yeah.
about this, or what are we thinking about this kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
And it's only because I've been doing this for so long. I've been
Right. Absolutely.
you've been working with this stuff, and I enjoy that part. I mean, and that's
Yeah.
why if it's a captivating story, that's going to bring you back every time to the story, and the artwork supports that story, or and vice versa. Like I had kids and stuff that I work with, they can't read. They can't
Oh
read at
no.
all. But what they can do, they can look at a picture and tell you exactly what's going on.
For sure.
And to me, that makes a multitude of things. I can't show them like what I read, of course.
Right.
But it's a big thing to be able to explain that to kids.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love. That's what I love about our industry. And maybe one day we will have a kitty ethereal comic, that my kids could read.
One day we have. So all joking aside, we have it. It keeps getting thrown up every time I turn around. It really does. From my wife to friends, family, everybody's like, well, when are you going to put together a book that the kids can read? And I've been all over with myself trying to figure out what I would do, like what kind of story I would do, because I've always been one to where I have honestly zero interest in writing a superhero book. I have zero. And that's not because I couldn't do it. It's just because I feel like they've all been done. Every power has been given out. And if I do it, I'm literally just chasing someone else's tail. And so at some point, absolutely, Shawnee. That's exactly the answer. It's definitely something that we've had in the works, in the talks, and everybody has. It's almost like family and peer pressure to do a kid book, and because I've got a young son, and I try to integrate my family into stories that we put out, like Eden is my daughter's name, and Oz, the main character from fucking Greed. My son's name is Oz. You know what I mean? There are nuances to the storytelling, but when it comes to actual telling a child's story, I feel like you have to be so very careful, so very respectful. And that's something I always try to do. Again, I always try to do everything as serious as I can with my books. So it's like, if I'm going to do a kid's book, it has to be a real kid's book. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I have seriously thought of doing like almost like Magic School Bus type of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, with the popularity of Dogman and Cat Kid, I don't know. I think that you could very easily just turn off your brain and write and just see where it takes you.
Stop thinking so much about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, punctuation be damned. Just do it.
Get out of here with the punctuation. You better
get
stop.
An editor.
Well, I mean, like if you think about it, just if you put Agent C, Agent K as the kids, in
that
the story,
would be fun.
If you take, all the characters, like from even BGD, you could take, like where
Mouse and Oz,
something
We've
like that.
talked about that. That'd be fun.
Because Oz was kind of very innocent, and even in the first issue, he's still innocent today, but he knows more than he's supposed to know as a kid his age.
For sure.
No, I think that, like, if you really wanted to do it, you're just going to have to turn off your, big, beautiful brain. Like, you just have to literally relax, and that's hard for you to do. And just let creativity run. Like, you're going to have to do 2 or 3, like, weeks worth of, like, daily exercises, like writing prompts, just to, like, change your direction. But I think that if you did it, and you just passed it to the next person, like, I think that it would be awesome. Like, pass it to Jean and just be like, look, I've taken it as far as I can. Now I need a second pair of hands on it, and then give it back to me.
Right.
And see what happens, because everybody does like jam pieces, and it turns out different than what you started it out to be. And I think that that's what you need to make it a little more user-friendly for the family audience, because when you delve into it, you go dark. You just do.
Yeah.
And that's what we love about it. But if we're going for a different route, you just need a second pair of eyes to go onto it. Get it back and navigate it, but for real, like, all kids' books are like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm gonna like take this monkey and they're gonna go right on the back of a dragon and yeah, they're gonna right off into the sunset. And be like, what, really? Like that's where we're going with this? But I bought the book and I read it and I'm like, huh, all right, sure. Dogman and Dogman, like the dog was dying, but the head was good. The cop was dying, but the body was bad, and they sewed it onto each other. I don't know. It was fucked up, and I'm like, really? My
Jesus.
daughter, Mouse, is reading like the book, like she hasn't put it down, and it's been like 3 months, and I've bought like 7 volumes or some shit. I don't know. Like,
Wow.
it's
Right
ridiculous.
on.
She loves it. And I'm like, does this even make sense? Does it have to? It's teaching her how to read a graphic novel. It's teaching her how to read and to enjoy a comic format. And it's hardbound, so it's not falling apart. I'm a happy mama. I don't know.
Right.
Well,
And
it's
you
the
don't
same thing
find
for
that
us.
hard. Mm-mm.
Mine was
Sounds like
reading
Cat
Wings
Dog.
of Fire and kept going through every book that she could read through. Then they had a graphic novel version of Wings of Fire. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap. How many books is there?
A bunch.
There's like 20.
Yeah.
like 20 of them.
There is. And they're hardbound and lengthy, but yeah. We've got 2 of them, but my daughter never really took off with it.
Right on. Well,
Um,
it's been about 3 hours now.
Oh, yeah.
oh, goodness.
April has absolutely slain this fucking art piece.
Yeah, we're getting
so
there. I still got some
What
time.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it a night. It's always awesome hanging out with Nate. You know what I mean?
guys.
And we're gonna start doing this a couple times a month.
Yep.
And then what we're gonna do is we're also gonna start doing giveaways next month
Oh, yeah?
on the show. Yeah, because I have a my infinite wisdom. I have a back stock of certain issues that people may or may not have. So we're going to give you guys some incentive to hang out with us. And then we're also going to give you guys the ability to pick up blank covers that April or Joe Blayden or someone else is working on, you know, if you're interested, you know. So that'll be fun too. But thanks so much for hanging out with us as usual.
Thank you, guys.
And we will get back to y'all tomorrow about going live with Frog Legs. It'll probably
I'm
be
so excited.
I can't wait.
ridiculously excited about that book. I think everybody's really, really going to enjoy it. But thanks again so much, and we will holler at you guys later. Have a good
Thank you,
evening,
Nathan.
and
Have a
I
good
hope
night,
you're.
Jason. Bye,
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah. You guys be good.
I will.
Bye.